Still alive.
Clive's already guessed Donald
Yeah,
Trump.
Donald Trump.
No,
Not that
it's not
lie.
right.
Ooh, we're live. Yeah, we're now live, apparently, according to that.
Uh,
G'day out there, all four of us. Out there at the moment.
Donald Trump, not Donald Duck.
Yes, he keeps talking and putting himself in bigger and bigger trouble, doesn't he, Mr. Trump? It's not a good thing to, when you're under indictment, to talk about what you're indicted about and just, confirm everything that they say. Okay. We'll see what comes of that. How are you, Blue?
Well, I'm good.
Been
How
up
are
to
you,
anything?
Timbo?
Anything? Oh, not too bad. Been a bit quiet since I haven't had any work to do. What was real frustrating is I went to use AutoCAD today and then remembered, I don't work for them anymore, so I don't have a license at the moment. So I have to wait for until I start the next job and try and get a license back. Either that or I pay whatever it is, $400 a year or something or other. It's about the minimum for AutoCAD at the moment.
I wish Autodesk on AutoCAD wasn't so damn expensive.
It is relatively expensive if you don't have a purpose for it. You can use this.
Yeah.
You can use this token system they've just introduced, but I think AutoCAD is 7 tokens. Your minimum, you have to buy 100 tokens minimum, which is about $400, I think. And so 7 tokens gives you 1 day's use of AutoCAD. I wouldn't mind if it was like per hour or something, but I might use it for half an hour or an hour, but then you've used up your whole day's worth. So yeah, it's a bit frustrating at the moment. If I had the money,
That's
you'd
ridiculous.
Yeah. So I might, just out of interest, I might start looking into some of the free CADs just to see how good they are. Not that I use it that much, but for the sort of stuff I do on YouTube, I don't really need full-blown AutoCAD. So, but it is nice, particularly when you know how to use it really well. So we'll see how we go. I might have to do some reviews on some free CADs. We'll see what we think. Did you have a I know something. Were you having a bit of a? Oh, probably wasn't a stream, but something on your channel, on your Discord the other day. Were you talking to somebody? I just saw things in the chat, and then the people from the Bev's channel saying so and so ran away. I can't remember what that was.
No, I haven't had it. I've not done anything.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. I did notice they've put up some stupid thing of, which was basically just a soundtrack over the top of different sound bites from Charles and yourself, etc. Just seemed a bit ridiculous. So I didn't watch
Everything
much
Bill
of that.
puts up is ridiculous.
Pretty much, yeah. This was worse than usual. I did find. I was going to put up a bit of tune. Where did I put that? Tune. Let's see if we get that running. Did you watch any of the tune from today? Well, there he is.
Go to the next one that you won't actually.
Oops, held on to that for a sec. Isaac Newton.
No, I don't think he proposed the predicted the charm cork.
No, I think he's just looking at the and Isaac doesn't fit in those letters anyway, so. So scientists extended electroweak unification models by including the Z0 particle. He also was the first to predict the existence of charm quark, and together with others proposed the first grand unified theory. It's not Fleetwood Mac. That doesn't fit either.
Not Fleetwood Mac. Nope.
It'd be good if there was.
Nor is it Lindsay Harris.
Lindsay Harris. Yeah. I can think of a few others. It's not either. Your just psychic abilities aren't real. Yes, that's. Remember, what was his name? Randy, whatever name, who used to do the psychic, try and debunk all the psychic challenges and stuff like that. He was famous for doing Uri Geller and I can't think of his name. One of the funniest videos I've seen. It was funny because they set it up as a prank. They had one of the team that was actually presenting to say that they were going for his $1 million challenge, and they had evidence, and Randy had sort of accepted the evidence. And they did the whole thing, but it was still just a big prank in the end between them and Randy. I'll have to try and find that one. That was quite funny how they presented it. Sheldon Glashow. Sheldon
Glashow.
Glashow.
Yeah. And that is indeed him. Yes.
There we go. So Zebulon, you need to get your psychic abilities into Sheldon Glashow. Obviously, Glashow sounds.
It's not that hard to say. Holy cow!
I keep getting how in there. I'm stuck now. I'll come back at the end of the show and I'll get it right. I'm guessing it's German, right? Or in that area? No, Glashow? No, I was thinking of.
He's American.
Oh, there you go. Do I hear voices in the distance? Who's in the distance? Let me know. I'm a bit low. I had to turn myself down because they were complaining I was too loud in Discord. So, I'll turn myself back up again.
Are you hearing my TV again?
Nope. Is it because it's not on?
I turned it down. That's on, but
This is not as bad as fish tanks in the background.
Very, very faintly in the background, but it's not annoying at all. It's not disturbing one single bit.
well, that's probably what Dave's hearing then.
I think it was because I was a bit low. I don't know if that's what they was talking about. Unless you're hearing stuff from my mic, but I've turned off the monitor, so I can't hear what my mic's saying anymore. So he's from the show Big Bang, right? No, not that Sheldon.
No, that's Sheldon Cooper.
Yeah. And he was into string theory, and then what did they shift over to when he moved out from string theory? I can't remember what his next study was. Barely hearable still. Okay.
Well, Glashow is a skeptic of string theory. He's a big critic of it, so.
So you guys hear me okay?
I can.
You can?
Glashow hates string theory so much that he campaigned to keep all string theorists out of Harvard University.
Thanks, Dave. Good. Yeah, I had her. Look, I can't say it's something I'm extremely knowledgeable. I did know there was a bit of a back and forth on string theory. It's not the favoured theory at the moment, is it?
No.
I didn't know that. I know that much. See, it's good to know something. But I only know that because I watched Big Bang Theory. See, television will teach you all sorts of stuff. I was going to put on a bit of gun.
Yes. You're saying it wrong, Timbo. Remember, it's television.
Yeah. I think string theory is about as popular as Witset's latest. What is that? Relational mechanics or something?
What's he on about now? I haven't heard from Witsit for ages.
Yeah. Some goofy ass thing they call relational mechanics. I think it is, or something like that.
Oh dear.
Some guys wrote a paper which is, I don't know, 10 pages or something. And I think he's mostly his own reference. Which it quotes him left and right. Always throwing links out.
And he published it using WordPad, probably.
It's pretty legit looking paper, but reading it is next to impossible, or at least for me. It throws out
relational mechanics, it sounds like you should take your car to one of your cousins to get fixed.
Yes.
It literally throws out all of relativity.
Oh, okay. One of those weirdos. Oh, dear.
Well, I don't know if this is it. Found it online. Relational mechanics and interpretation of Mach's principle. Don't know if that's the one.
Sounds relatively familiar.
Oh, come on. Well, it's in Adobe. It's a PDF, so therefore it must be legit. It must be a bit long. It's taking a while to load. Come on.
No, anything that replaces relativity has to ultimately incorporate relativity as a limiting factor or of some sort. You know, just like when relativity came along, you can still use Newtonian mechanics in certain circumstances. Well, it'd be the same. Any theory that replaces general relativity, you would be able to use general relativity in certain circumstances, but the things that general relativity doesn't explain, you'd use the more advanced theory. That's my take on it anyway.
All right.
Yeah, that's the way I would see it.
Hmm.
It has to do everything relativity does and then something else.
Has to be backwards compatible, doesn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yes. That's how things have to work. Good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be like relativity 2.0.
Yeah.
But you can always go back and use the original version.
Yeah.
As long as it's not relativity Vista.
yeah, we skip Vista.
Yeah. We'll just go past that version of relativity.
Which doesn't allow you to go forward or backward.
No. Yeah.
Why does this take forever to load? How big is this? Might take a while. Let's come back to it. I was going to play a little of that Toon thing because I didn't hear it, I got to admit. So I picked a bit where he's just after Toon stopped shouting. He probably starts shouting again in a sec. So
Well, you spent a good part of it shouting.
I get the impression this guy just really triggers Toon. So I'm sure there's more shouting to come.
And either. This one here. This one's simpler. Detection of Earth's rotation with a diamagnetically levitating gyro.
Yeah, this is... the first part of this was this guy saying, there's no experiments that show the rotation of the Earth. So Toon was going through showing experiments that show the rotation of the Earth.
Gyroscope. This one's pretty simple here. You see that there? It's a plastic ball being suspended in a magnetic field.
So again, not a proof of Earth's movement.
Absolutely, because it's suspended.
Magician toys again.
It's suspended. Sorry, do you have a refutation, or are you going to wave the white flag again?
I mean, I'm
just saying isn't actual refutation. It is you showing that you believe a lie.
It's not a measurement of Earth's movement.
Yes, it is.
It's
Show how
another
it's
example
not.
Of your gullibility.
Show how it's not.
It's another great example of your
Show how
gullibility.
it's not.
Because
That's all
it's
you
not-
need to do.
You have to point to these papers because there is no simple proof of Earth's movement. Because
Show how it's not a measurement of Earth's rotation.
Show how it is. You're
I am.
claiming it is. The burden of proof is on you.
Absolutely agree with that. Yes. So they suspend this ball in a magnetic field so that it's independent of anything. It's not touching anything. Then they wait for a while and they measure its rotation and the change in its rotation over time. And they discover that it rotates 15 degrees an hour, just as the Earth is claimed to rotate. They confirmed once again that the Earth rotates.
An hour does the sun move?
The sun wasn't in the room. It has nothing to do with it. But yeah, the sun does move 15 degrees an hour, something that can never work on flat Earth either.
How many degrees does the sundial move in an hour?
15. Why?
Oh, I got it. Now, can you show me a sundial replicated on the globe?
Yeah, that's not that hard. What you
All right,
cannot do is show a sundial replicated on flat Earth, because on flat Earth the sun would always be shining on it.
No, yeah, it's totally been replicated around an obelisk on a flat floor with an overhead light circling around. But show me where it's been modeled on the globe model.
I agree with
It's based
Ben
on the
that
globe model. That's it's ridiculous.
No, it's not. My answer.
Yeah, we'll stick a pin in the thing, and if you run this, just shine the lights around, you get a shadow all the way around. Yeah, that's good proof.
What happens to the part where it becomes? What happens to the part where it becomes night for 12 hours?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah. Have you guys ever done this experiment? This looks like one that might be worth having a go. Doesn't sound that difficult to set up. Get a ball to. What would you need to get a ball to be suspended magnetically? Plastic ball.
A large magnetic field?
That'd be reasonably large, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Typically, levitating things by diamagnetism requires pretty stout magnetic fields.
Yeah.
If you did a similar experiment with the suspending a magnet magnetically, like opposed magnets, would you be able to argue that should produce the same results? Or would you say this?
Because the fluorescents say it's interacting with the Earth's magnetic field in some way, or the, you know.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Probably would be too.
Yeah. I was just trying to think of, because I can understand the idea is getting something suspended so it's not attached in any way, which is basically the same as the Foucault's pendulum, effectively. Yeah, so it's just a matter of coming up. So I can see where they came from with this one. Yeah, we'll see what else this guy's got to say.
All
right, well, definitely. Sure. The problem is the sun sets the on flat Earth, the sun setting doesn't work, and so the sundial would always be in light.
It works every night. It works.
Yeah, every night the flat Earth is falsified when the sun sets. The sun could never set if the Earth were flat, due to the law of perspective.
No, absolutely not.
Well, then show it. Go right ahead and show it.
Atmospheric magnification and lensing has been shown.
Well, go right ahead. Go right ahead. Show it. Show how the sun sets.
I mean, I don't have the whole file. I've been doing this 5 years like you have. So
you claim have been doing it longer than me already. So there's another lie.
On Facebook, but not on Zoom, and I don't have like files on my computer.
All right. Well, why did you lie then? You said you haven't been doing this as long as me, but before you said you've been doing this longer than me.
Well, debating on Facebook, not on Zoom meetings and video debates.
So you don't have what you claim.
This is my second. You're the second person I've.
All right. Well, then don't make claims you can't back up, because, well, I guess that's all you can do.
Shit. All right.
That's all you got.
You look on your video.
Every single claim you make, you don't have evidence.
In her dorm room, you were trying to use this evidence of gravity and saying that massing against mass has been proven, and it had 2 bowling balls and a stick.
Yeah.
And you were, that video that you were saying is proof of gravity shows that you don't even understand gravity as taught by the heliocentric theory.
Oh, well, do inform me what I got wrong.
The stick should have been drawn to the balls in gravity. It was repelling it, which was actually more in line with what a magnetic force can have, repulsion properties.
What was
You should have been
repelling?
drawing the stick to both balls, and you weren't even smart enough to understand.
What are you talking
Your own
about?
proof was proving you wrong. Pull
What
it
are you
up.
talking about? It did move.
No, put it up. Pull it up.
You're the one that brought it up. I don't have it handy. Go ahead, bring it up.
You pulled it up in your debate with Austin. You obviously had it handy then.
From 3 years ago.
Oh, that was 3 years ago. I thought it was pretty recent.
I've been destroying Witsit for years.
Winston kicked your ass at the end. You got him a little off in the beginning because he
Yeah,
wasn't expecting your demonic.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting me to have evidence.
You know, I saw you and your boy Shane Gould, when he didn't show up, you and your other buddies started sitting around making dick jokes for about 5 minutes before I cut it off. How long have you been into that kind of lifestyle?
Cute.
Huh?
Cute.
Was that your boyfriend in the van? One of your boyfriends?
Yeah, nice. Good job there. When you've got nothing, let me pull up the card for you there. Let me pull up the card.
So do you play Magic the Gathering too?
No. Oh, there it is. There it is.
What other card games do you play?
Ad hominem, right there. Ad
Play
hominem.
solitaire since you don't have any friends that come to your meetups?
My first meetup is next Wednesday.
Yeah. Nobody will be there, huh? Your gay buddy from the van will be there.
I don't know why I don't know why you gotta go there. Gay or not, the Earth is still a globe.
No, it's not.
It doesn't change anything. You're still
Like,
wrong, even if somebody's gay.
You love clinging to pillars and balls with no proof.
All right.
Because you have a demonic stronghold over your life. You're demonically.
You're the one that's constantly lying, though.
No, I'm not lying.
Yeah, you totally are lying. You made claims and then you can't back them up. That's a lie.
Did 19 hijackers commit 9/11?
It has nothing to do with this conversation.
Well, just answer me. You can't.
Are you getting off topic because you're scared?
Yeah.
I got it. I understand. Wave that white flag because you can't support your claims. So run away from your claims. Run away from the topic because you have no evidence to support your claim.
You're not man enough to answer questions.
It's off topic.
Why are you getting so frustrated like you're about to have a heart attack?
Why can't you stay on topic,
blood pressure?
My cholesterol is pretty good, and I have a blood pressure meter. Doing well too. Thank you though.
It looks like it might be really high. Like you might want to get it checked.
All right,
More deflection.
More ad hominem. Do you actually have
Deflection.
evidence? Do you have a reputation?
You don't know. You don't have concern for anybody, do you?
All right. So, I showed 2 measurements of Earth's rotation that you had nuh-uh for. Let me get you a third one here.
Neither one was an independently verifiable measurement of Earth's movement.
Completely verified. You can do it yourself. Go do it
They
yourself.
were magician shows that show how gullible you are to even think that would be a measurement of Earth's alleged movement. I mean,
So you say.
Lost ball. Okay. Ran away. Okay. I'll keep going just a little bit. Well, typical flirt, it's just going to the deflection. Can't answer the question, but just deflect into things that are completely irrelevant. I think you're right, Ebol. I think we should do sundials at school. Would be interesting, particularly because they're obviously changed how you got to set them up from every latitude to get the right answers. Explain that on a flat Earth. Should be the same. What happened to our friend Paul? Yeah, I'll put this on for a little bit. I'll see if I can find it.
But it's not actual evidence to just say nuh-uh. All you did was say nuh-uh. All right,
Yeah,
let me show you
That's what you do. You're a pro
yet
at
another
that.
one.
I learned
And-
that from you.
And I can show you a third party that's done this. So anyway, this is Scientific American, 1905. So it's a pretty old one. They used two 50-centimeter spinning discs, and they got them spinning, and they suspended them from a wire. So here's the
gyro.
this uses two.
Bullshit,
No,
like,
this is a third way to measure the rotation of the Earth, independent of the other two
the
ways.
third way
So
to show how easily fooled
this
you are to
uses
think that
two
that's the measurement of the Earth.
50-centimeter spinning discs, each with a mass of 30 kilograms, spinning around 2,400 RPM. This is suspended by a wire and allowed to rotate freely.
Show
So
me people doing
here-
an experiment.
Here is
Show
a
me a
photograph
video.
of it. Here's a photograph of it. Right there. That's a photograph of the device they
That's
used
all it
in
takes to prove for
1905.
You, huh? Just like all you need was that tinfoil wrap thing to believe we landed on the
So
moon.
there is
looks like
there
a gyro
is
compass.
a third way that is
I'm
independently
assuming they're
verifiable. In
counter-rotating
fact,
discs to make it work.
FE Core paid somebody
they're
to
rotating the same
build
direction,
one
they
of these
just spin.
themselves, and it measured rotation. They tried to bury the fact
It
that
didn't
that
measure
measured rotation.
Why in the world do you think that device would measure the rotation of the Earth?
Because it's independent. It's in an independent frame of reference. The wire that's supporting it allows it to move freely, and the centrifugal force and the gyroscope effect of the rotating discs there makes it want to stay rigid in 3D space. But because it can only pivot on one axis, it's forced to only pivot on one axis. The other axes are
three things that they
low.
told you with their
So-
gyroscope.
So here is yet another piece of evidence that you blindly refuse to accept because you are a liar. You have no refutation for this other than you don't like it, therefore it must not be
It's
real.
not a measurement of Earth's movement.
That's
it,
all-
It shows me how stupid you are to believe.
So
it.
you've said, but you can't actually refute it.
You don't understand it. I don't.
What's
I
wrong?
refuse
What
all
is wrong
credit
with
that
this?
it-
Does
that
the
you're just a-
gyroscopic
you're
effect
just a-
not
you're just a
exist?
gullible sheep who thinks you're
Oop.
smart
Hi, Matt.
because you
How are you, mate?
memorize. some
Does
bullshit.
the gyroscopic effect not exist? Is that your claim?
Hello.
The gyroscopic effect is not affected by gravity?
Hey, Matt. How's it going?
Not bad. Yeah. This wasn't a debate. This was how can I put it? A spanking.
Yeah, she didn't sound like
It
he knows a lot.
was a demolishing, and I don't know whether you saw like his comments on Facebook before that and this guy was going, yeah, I'm gonna smack you about, I'm gonna open up a can of whoop ass and all the rest of it, and like he was
Doesn't know.
I mean, he was inept as a, he was inept as a flat earther, let alone anything else. And he just basically just reads from the flat Earth script, literally. He just says things that others have actually said word for word. It's hilarious.
'Cause-
really was.
Because a few minutes
Smacked
ago,
about all over the place.
because a few minutes ago, like he said, it's only his second debate. He's gonna try and
Yeah.
debate in 4 years or whatever he's done. You're gonna try and debate.
Yeah,
Tim.
I mean,
You've only done it
because he
second
was on
time.
Facebook. Because I saw the interaction on Facebook as well. You see, because he was saying, "Oh, I've been doing this longer than you have, McToon," and blah blah, this, that, and the other as well. But yeah, he's been doing it for years on Facebook. Facebook University. He's basically what he's been doing is copying and pasting, also copying memes and posting them.
just
Yeah.
putting stuff in, but no responding.
Yeah. He hasn't got a clue. Not the first time. I mean, he doesn't even know the FE model very well either. To be honest with you, just
No, it sounds like it.
Yeah,
We
it
did have
was,
Paul in here a little second ago, but then he disappeared. I noticed that he's offline in Discord, which maybe he lost his internet. For those who are wondering where he's gone, but yeah.
it looks like.
Anyway. Well, so how have you
Yeah,
been,
well-
Paul?
Not bad. You.
No, that's good. No, I was just putting this on because I didn't see much of this. I did I watched a little bit of the start of it where Toon was shouting, and I just started a little bit when he'd come down a bit.
I watched. I didn't watch all of it. I watched sort of about 10 minutes before this bit and about 15 minutes after,
Yeah.
or so, and just kind of logged off after a while because it was
It looks like it's pretty much
it
the
was just
same.
getting a bit
This guy
tiresome.
just This guy just doesn't know anything.
Triangle? You wouldn't even know the first step? And you think you can outmath me? The hell's going
How
on?
would you
What the hell
get
kind
the
of
angle of the
stupid
other
idea?
Hang on, let me go back. See if I can find a
Zenith above California.
We know
What
that
kind
the
of
sun
juvenile
moved 3,000
drawing
miles
did
in
that?
See it, by the way.
3 hours.
What kind of ridiculousness
Can't. Try again. There we go.
was
There
that?
you go. There you go.
The sun is never directly over California, and your diagram showed it.
You're just dishonest.
Your diagram is dishonest. It claimed that the sun was directly over California.
The zenith. Let's use the term zenith, okay?
It can't.
Again, your
Can't
semantics
be.
game that you like to play, but you can't just accept some honest. agreed upon
But
term.
it's not honest. It's terrible
You know what
geometry.
you know what zenith means?
Yes.
Okay, so the zenith of the sun is around solar noon at both locations. They're 3,000 miles apart. That zenith is 3 hours apart.
You think he thinks that Zenith is from where you are? Maybe that's what he's
Yeah.
trying.
That's what
I
he's
think he's
thinking
trying to think that Zenith is the what do you call it? Apogee, the top near solar noon, whatever it is. I'm getting that name wrong. Yeah.
Do you understand now?
That has nothing to do with it. That the geometry. My goodness, you suck at geometry.
Hey, Paul, good to see you back. Did you lose the internet?
Yeah. Yeah, had a bit of a power failure here.
Because I thought, oh, he's disappeared. You might mention something, and looked on Discord, and you're offline now. I thought,
Yeah,
oh,
it's almost as if like I ran quicker than a flirt, right?
he didn't like the evidence and he just disappeared.
Yeah, clearly this guy doesn't know what zenith or zenith actually means.
Yeah.
Clearly, I'm not sure what he thinks it means, but he obviously.
So
doesn't know
yes,
what
he's
zenith
trying
is.
to suggest the sun's zenith over California, which obviously is not possible. But anyway,
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoop your ass. And I'll put
Completely
as much
possible.
money as you want on a
You're-
standardized
You are
geometry test.
terrible at geometry.
Well, let's go head to head in a standardized test on it. That's my gift.
that would be fun.
Let's do it right now.
That's why I trip out on you getting fooled by the best you can come
Let's
up
do
with,
this.
dependent on a measure in Venus. It just shows how the dumbed down sheep you are.
Let's do it right now. You're gonna show everybody how good you are at math. Right? Oh my gosh, this is gonna be great. All right, I'll give you a math problem. You can use this is an open book test.
Proof of Earth's movement.
All right, you're gonna change the topic. I understand you're gonna want to change the
We haven't
topic.
got off the first topic yet, because my first thing with you is what verifiable proof do you have of Earth-less movement? You
Yeah,
start
I
showing
showed 3. You didn't like it.
donuts, spinning water and donuts, like not a single thing about a measurement experiment related to the Earth, and it's even
wants
one
me to
All right,
put
here
down
you
a-
go.
I'll
Here you
take
go,
that.
Mr. Math. Here you go, Mr. Math. Simple.
Yeah.
Simple. Solve this triangle. You got, it's a right triangle, right? Right angle there. You've got 7,920, right? And you've got 22.5, right? Solve that
Sneaky. 22 and a half, being half of 45. Yeah, sneaky. Should be relative. Should be able to work that out. So here he goes.
Look, we're talking about evidence here.
No, you claimed that you could outmath me. Go ahead. Just wait, go ahead.
I'm not here to do math problems.
Oh, you can't.
tonight.
You can't do it. So you can't outmath me. You don't even know what you would do to do that, do you?
To be,
How
I
would-
rush up on that part of tree?
No kidding. No kidding. How many years of doing this and you can't do the simple trig to solve a triangle? You wouldn't even know the first step? And you think you can outmath me? The hell's going on? What the hell kind of stupid idea?
You know, one of the angles is 90, one's 22, so you would subtract 90 from 22. Yes,
Yeah.
I could figure it
All
out,
right.
but I'm not going to sit here and waste everybody's time.
what's
Subtract
the
90
side-
from 22.
Subtract? What?
He needs to work out the other angle
What
to
the
work it out.
Oh,
hell?
Side. Right here. What's that side? How are you
So
gonna
he's
get that side?
subtracting? What? What?
Figuring out the other angle by
Okay.
subtracting. By,
Got it. You got that angle. So then what?
Then it's proportional. the A and B. If the vertical's A and the horizontal's B, it's going to be proportional based on the angles.
Okay, and what do we call these proportionality relationships? They have names.
It's just because I don't know your name. I just told you what it is. So see how stupid you are that just because somebody doesn't know.
I'm sorry, you're the one that claimed that you could outmath me, and you don't know the names of these proportionality relationships. I'll give you a hint. SOHCAHTOA. Now, what's the name of the proportionality relationships?
Do you have verifiable proof of the sun 93 million miles away that doesn't involve something like Venus that you can't verify?
Let's move on to something else really quick.
After you wave the white flag on this one. So I just want to make it clear. I just want to really drive it home. I can outmath you. You don't even know the names of the proportionality relationships here, even when I gave you the hint of SOHCAHTOA.
Sine, cosine.
Oh, there you go. Man, I really had
not sitting here to
I really had to give that to you.
To death.
Dang, I really had to give that to you.
You know,
Wow.
I know this stuff. I'm just not trying to bore your
But
audience.
you could have. I mean, you could have just from the get go done that. But
I did. I told you. What it is.
Did somebody send you a message?
Did you see me look away from this screen?
I don't know. I wasn't looking. I'm just asking. I mean, it's okay.
I fantasized about that ass whooping, weren't you?
It's fine if you do. I'm not saying it's wrong. I said it was specifically though. What would be the one if you have this angle?
So
and this side.
Quit distracting the fact that you don't have any evidence. I gave you evidence.
You didn't give me anything. You gave me nothing, Daniel.
3,000 miles across the United States. The sun has moved 3,000
The
miles.
OG Kenji is asking Daniel, you pray to God with that vulgar mouth?
I noticed on this makes sense now because I was in Toon's Discord and this guy sent Toon a math puzzle for whatever reason, I don't know. So let's see if I can find it. Pull it up. Switch to Discord. Can't see Discord. I can't see Discord. Oh, try that one. Stay Discord. Where's my Discord gone? Discord. That's Discord. Ah, there we go. You can see I have a whole of 3 friends. There we go. So he sent Toon that. Now that makes sense. And Toon says,
who sent Toon this? What was this? Who what? Why were you flip to this?
Because obviously I was in Toon's channel and Toon got sent this math problem. Now I understand why he got sent the math problem. Because someone's obviously, I don't know whether they're trying to trip him up or not, I don't know. But it's sort of like that's a pretty basic math problem. And Toon obviously did it. But it was sort of like, why? I think because it's trying to work out that angle because of the variation, but yeah, it's simple. Anyway, that's why I was showing you that was just because. Now that made sense. I was saying I didn't know what that was about till then. Go back to the fluffiness. What have we got? So I don't know how much more of this. Obviously, he went on for a while. Looks like the same sort of stuff. Ooh. We've got an actual experiment there. Let's see what that's about.
Causes rainbows.
Oh, this has not been able to do rainbows inside.
And you said specifically, I just want to make sure, you specifically said you cannot make a rainbow inside.
Yeah, if you look up everything on every instruction on how to make a rainbow inside, all of them require glass mirrors. On all your science,
making you a liar.
Making
you a liar right now.
Yeah, require glass mirrors, or I don't know what that's about. Anyway.
What?
Here's his light. Right there. Showing the light. And there is the mister again. Turn it on. Every time, and there's a rainbow. It's arcing. Curved rainbow. Where is the prism you
There we
speak
go.
of?
Rainbow.
I mean,
Where's the prism? Where's the curved prism you were talking about?
show any
Come on,
reflection.
don't change the topic. Where is the curved prism you were talking about was necessary? Where is it?
UV fakery happens on.
Where is
Oh,
it?
fakery.
Where is it?
I don't know. I don't.
Where is it, liar? Hey, liar! Where is
He's
it?
just about to
You
call
said
it
it's not
CGI as he
possible.
was something.
I showed it right here, liar. Come on, liar. Come on, demon liar. Pretend fake person that you pretend you start with prayer, but you're a demon. Where is it? Come on,
Who doesn't
come on,
usually get
liar.
this animated
Where's the
usually?
curved prism
it's in
here,
there- it's in there
liar?
somewhere.
Hey,
It's
liar.
in there
Where's the curved
Yeah, no,
prism,
you should
liar?
It's in there somewhere.
Where?
It's obviously ticked off with this guy.
Where is it, liar?
Is
Where
that
is
what he
it,
said
liar?
about curved?
Where's the
Is that what we
curved
called it?
prism,
Curved
liar?
prism.
Come on out,
Yeah.
Come on, liar. Where is it? You
What's a
got
curved
nothing.
prism when it's
you got
own?
exposed. You lied. I showed that you're a liar. You are pathetic. You're stupid. You fell for the idiot flat earth cult. And you're going out telling people your stupid cult religion. You make claims. You specifically said you can't make a rainbow inside. There's a rainbow inside, liar.
How do you know there's no glass in that room?
There's no damn glass in the room, idiot. That's a rainbow inside, liar.
Okay.
Come on, liar. Where's the curved firmament in that room, liar?
Were you in that room?
Where's the curved... No, you said every experiment. You didn't say you were in the room for every experiment. You didn't say
You're asking
before
me
I
goalposts.
showed you this
Where's the
that
goalposts?
you must be in the experiment, liar. You
I
changed
have
the
seen him angry,
rules,
yeah, but
liar.
yes, he's a
You
bit
said this was
aggravated at that.
impossible, liar. I showed you that you are a liar.
You know what the demon's name is?
Where is
He lied to
the
you?
lie? Where is the prism? Where is it? Come on. Where's the prism in this room?
Yes,
Show me the prism in this
It's in
room.
Curved
there.
prism.
It's in there.
Where?
I guarantee there's a glass
Where?
bowl in there. There's
Where?
A glass bowl in there. I
Where?
can't
Come on.
read
You said the whole firmament. That ceiling is flat, but that
not-
rainbow is
They're using a
curved.
glass bowl
Where
to
is
trick
it?
you. This is how easy that.
Where?
is
Come
for
on,
you.
come on, liar. Make up new excuses when you got caught out in your lie.
Pull up every
Come on.
prison vi-
Come
pull up
on,
the
liar.
prison video.
Where is it? Where's the
You're-
curved
you're-
prism? Where is
Look how
it?
you- look how
Where's
you
the
react.
curved
Look
prism?
Look how you react. 'Cause you don't
Where's the
understand what
curved
bowl
prism,
being used
liar?
to trick
I
you.
hate liars like you. You're
There's a glass
disgusting.
bulb being
A
used to trick
glass
you.
bulb
Oh,
isn't.
fuck.
You said the firmament was the necessary part to make it curve, not the bulb. You changed the
Come on.
rules now when you got caught out as a deceived liar.
Come on.
Where
demon,
is it?
on.
Come on,
Come
liar.
out of him, demon. Lord.
Oh,
rebuke
shut
that
up.
Demon,
Jesus.
demonic spirit. possess him.
I think this even
Wow.
outclasses PhD Tony.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Insults. What a
Oh,
piece of crap.
kicked him out.
I destroyed you. You are so dumb. I hate people like you.
He was a bit of a destruction, I
fake.
must admit. It really was.
Fake religious person. Starting this with prayer, you are obviously intentionally making people of faith look bad. You are a serial liar. Everything about your life, Daniel Bland, is a lie. So sad. So pathetic. What an awful human. And you didn't hear it. Right away, he goes into insults. Like he's pretending to be this religious guy, and all he can do is insult. Tell you what, you insult, but the earth is still a globe, and you still lie.
Yeah, I think we might finish that one there. Well, I think that was the end of the debate. That was it. Gone. Fair enough, I think.
Yeah, that was no debate. That was just a. I don't know if I was going to say an education, but I don't think he's going to be educated at all. You can't educate people like that. He's just.
I just have to. It's this thing that a lot of FEs get that they think they know this stuff, like they're somehow smart, and then they're so easily, anyone with some sort of education, like you said, oh yeah, I could out math you, and it's like, but you don't even know basic trig. What?
Yeah, I mean, before the debate, I mean, he was basically going to he was telling Embassy 2 that, he was going to, open a can of whoop ass, and he was going to beat him, and he's going to show him up and make him look foolish and all this kind of things. But I mean, it was just complete opposite of that, opposite way around. He just made him look like an idiot. I mean, he couldn't even get the basics right, the basics of even the flat Earth model, let alone anything else.
Well, he couldn't even get the basics of the globe model.
No basics of nothing, really, to be honest, could he?
He didn't understand, where the
prism.
sun's limited to on the Earth, Didn't even-
Curved prism. Okay.
And it's sort of like,
Well,
well,
what perplexes me, I mean, like, I would have thought that everybody would have done this as a child. You go out on a sunny day. I used to do it in my back garden many years ago, when I was a little kid, because I was fascinated by that. I felt like I could make a rainbow, go out on a sunny day with a garden hose and, put it on fine mist, and you'd see the rainbow, I thought everybody did that. Obviously not.
well, the thing is that they say that that's the firmament that causes that effect. And that's why they're doing it inside. It's an anti-firmament demonstration. It's that Marissa. She has the same one, and she's seen that and says, "Oh no." She tries to argue that it's the reflective, the insulation material on the inside that garage that's somehow causing it. And then I think other people have shown her.
Oh, really?
It doesn't matter what she gets shown. She always says, "Oh no, it's either a fake or it's whatever." It's just still consistent that you can't make a
Something
random
else.
inside. Sorry, just finished typing. Well, there you go. That's the end of that one. Oh, I forgot.
I'll be right back. I've just got to feed this cat. I'll be right back.
You're right. I do have a new PhD Tony. What's he's got on this time? I don't know if you've watched his latest video. It is...
Greetings, YouTubers, and
Whoops,
welcome
that
to
one.
episode.
Hang on a sec. Our sea level is flat. How long's that one? About 9 minutes. Yeah, I'll do that one later. I was just bringing up... I thought Matt's just nicked off, but when I was researching, I came up with this one from Durf, which sort of relevant, which was a new... Some guy... does he say where he's from? It's obviously one of the Arabic countries, supposedly with a flat Earth model. Oh no, that's a different one. Not that one. So this one.
Peace be upon you, our dear followers. By the grace and praise of God, the map of the sky has been installed in the Flat Earth Project. Of course, we see the sun here. This is dropping light.
I assume they're trying to say this is not what happens within a day, but again, why do they have not the light halfway across? I don't get it. And they've still got the moon
Of course, here we see the location of the sun
directly
with the
opposite the
analemma.
sun.
Not sharing anything, so
Oh, okay, it's up. Let's see if I can turn up. It's been dubbed over because originally it was in Arabic.
Here we adjust the world
Can you
time.
hear that?
We see the moon.
We can hear
Here's
it,
a
but we
full
can't
moon.
see it.
Oh, sorry. That makes it a bit
Yeah.
hard for you to see it. Try again.
Yeah.
Try again. There we go. They're like,
Peace
just
be
like the
upon
Earth,
you,
aren't
our dear followers. By the grace and praise of God,
they? I'll spin it to speed
the
this up
map
a
of
bit.
the sky has been installed in the Flat Earth Project. Of course, we see the sun here. This is dropping light. Of course, the
Yeah,
position
the
of the
sun's
sun is
just like
approaching
a
the new
spotlight,
orbit.
isn't it? Yeah.
And not 24
Of course,
hours
here
in
we see the
Antarctica.
location of the sun with the analemma.
Yeah.
Here
And let's see, stuff to
we
bad
adjust
spot.
the world time.
So that's the moon, of course, always follows exactly next to the opposite the sun, which
Yeah.
we all know
Always the
doesn't
opposite.
happen,
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
we know doesn't, and easily displayable.
We see
Yeah.
the moon. Here is a full moon. The moon is opposite the sun, of course.
Of course.
Here
Of
is the map of the sky. Of course, the sun recedes every
So when it's full in Australia and only New Zealand and Australia are in daytime, and the rest of the world are in nighttime. Just so you know.
cycle by 1 degree within the zodiac system. Since the astronomy precedes
This is the one that got me. It's sort of like, let's just move on just a
the
little bit.
sun every day by 1 degree out of 306.
That's about here. So Japan is on the same time zone as us, as on this side. So Japan's in night, while we're still in daytime. So think that
65
one out.
degrees, of course. This is only an experiment. The project is not 100% complete. Watch here. Here on this site. The beginning of the year, of course, the astronomy has been set. And the sun
It's-
is now in its new orbit.
Yeah. This just goes on. I don't think it works.
Sagittarius. Of course, the positions of the moon begin in An-Aim.
Yes, I think that's what that other guy thinks is going on. It doesn't work either.
What question I've never got an answer to, and I've asked this numerous times, is if the sun is rotating around the Earth, what is this sun? How is the sun rotating around the Earth? How is it going around the flat Earth? What energy is causing that to happen?
Yeah. Well, it's
Never been able to get an answer to that. You know,
So much of it is
What
that-
makes it go around this flat disc of Earth?
magic.
Magic.
Never had an answer to it. Magic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
magic. It's the same as Lindsay.
Yeah, and the moon for that matter. And,
You just
and
don't
the
ask
moon for that
questions
matter.
like that, Matt. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
how dare you? How
How
dare you
dare
ask
me?
a question like
I know. Dare you ask a question I can't answer? Yeah.
What creates the energy
I've had one answer. I think it might have been Nathan Thompson. I think it was some years ago. I think it might have been on one of Jose's early shows, and I answered that question. And I think it was Nathan Thompson said something about a track. Apparently, it's on a track in the sky.
yeah.
Something on those
Chemo said
lines.
something like that too. They
Yeah.
obviously watched that YouTube video where the superconducting piece of material that's been cooled to a very, very low temperature levitates above a magnetic track. And
That's right.
And it follows the magnetic track. I mean, like,
Yeah.
so the sun's not hot. It's actually like very, very cold.
Yeah.
yes.
And somehow there's a magnetic track embedded in the earth that the sun floats above. But then how does it spiral in and out like they claim between the tropics?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, what causes
Yeah.
it to move in the tropics as well? And how does that happen?
Yeah.
Never had an answer to that one either.
And what generates the light in the sun? That's the one I try and get. You know, they often say, "Oh, the moon
and
is
another
plasma," but
another question I remember asking in that same show was that, okay, if we live in an enclosed system and we've got the sun within that system, then surely a closed container, if you heat inside a closed container, you know, the more heat, the more pressure, and the more pressure, the more heat. So you get a thermal runaway, right? So why are we not all dead? And the answer I got, well, there's no proof that the sun is hot. Really? There's no evidence the sun is hot.
Oh, dear.
I have had
It's a source of light, apparently.
I have had that people sort of say, "Oh, yeah, no, we don't know if it's the sun making it hot or not." Well, what is it then?
Yeah.
Obviously, why does it?
So
why is
so
it hot
why
when the
is why
sun's
is
out?
it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I didn't get a chance to ask that question because they kind of moved on very quickly.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, that's an easy one to answer, Matt. All you got to do to counter that one is say, well, we don't know what the sun is, do you?
Yeah.
I'll be back in a sec, guys. I've just got to nick away for a moment.
Hey, did you hear officially that that many South Koreans are going to be officially a year younger this year?
How? What?
Yeah. Officially, they're going to be a year younger. And that's to do with the way that the South Koreans were, instead of being one year later, they were classified as being one as soon as
When
they
you're
were born. Yeah, yeah. And then I think there's a set date when your age ticks over. And so now they've decided that they're going to conform with the rest of the world as far as standards of keeping track of age goes. And so some South Koreans are going to be a year younger.
That was the South Koreans then. I would have thought I would expect that kind of thing from the North Koreans, not the South Koreans.
No, apparently it's some sort of traditional age-keeping mechanism that they've had for ages. And they've finally decided that because it's confusing when you want to travel to the rest of the world, that they've decided to conform with the rest of humanity in calculating how old you are.
I never knew that.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Weird. So, I mean, that just makes no sense. I mean, the whole point of like a birthday is it's an anniversary of your birth, right?
Yeah,
You
I can kind of see it from their point of view a little bit though, because I mean, when you're born, that's your first year, isn't it? All right.
Yeah, but you haven't completed. But when you,
but you see, you're looking at it from our perspective, and that's the way that we keep track of dates and an age is you only turn one when you've had a year. It's sort of like retrospective, but they're like, as in this is your first year of life, so you're one. You're in year one of your life.
Yeah, year one. Yeah.
So what about the months broken down between that then? So
I don't know.
If the 3-month-old is not 3 months old, it's a 1 year old, is it?
Oh, now you're just getting too tricky, man. I mean,
No, they're still only 3 months old, so they're still one.
No, but they're still classed as one. So
Yeah.
So how do you determine the difference in age between somebody who's 3 months old and somebody who's 11 months old?
I don't know.
You just subtract 11 from 3. That's not that hard. You just subtract 3 from 11.
A lot happens with a child between the age of from the time they're born, the time they're actually 1 year of age. A lot of things happen in the body. A lot of things. So yeah, okay.
It doesn't actually change that, Matt. It still happens.
In South Korea, yeah.
It doesn't not happen because they call them 1 year olds instead of so much months old. They're still they're still only 3 months old. they still say they're 1 year old. I was going to say no one says they know someone's 0 years old anyway. So it's, usually you stop counting by months by the time they're
if you're
15 months old or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, usually, quite often, when a child is born for the first 3 months, you usually calculate in weeks. So many weeks old usually, and then after that, they're 4 months old, they're 5 months old, they're 6 months old. That kind of thing. But same for the first year that your child's one, no matter when it was born. It's like daft.
Yes. Well, that's interesting, Paul. I hadn't heard that one before. I'd assume that it's a Korean thing. So it's probably the same in North Korea. Would make it interesting though when you're that drinking age. Oh yes, 18 or 17. You were 18 last week, and now they've told us you're 17. What's going on?
I had a discussion with a young lady quite some time ago about why we call when it turned the year 2000, why it wasn't when it turned 2000 that this wasn't the 20th century. I couldn't get her to get her head around the fact that the years 0 to 100 was the first century.
Yeah.
She couldn't seem to grasp that concept for some strange reason. It's like, do you not understand it? Like 0 to 100, that's the first century. But she says, no, that's the 0th century. What? No, that's 1 century completed from 0 to 100. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's the same. But that was a big thing back then. Was 1999 the millennium, or 2000 the millennium, or 2001? Well, yeah, I still remember the show. I still remember the show 1999. I don't know if you remember that one. Science fiction show was around for a little while. They were on the moon, and the moon got thrown out from Earth's orbit or something like that. I think that was the storyline.
Something like that. Mm.
Yeah. What you sending Judy Bassett to weird? Oh, Rob Park. That's okay. You can send Judy Bassett to Rob Park's videos. So I thought you'd like this one, Matt. You can explain this one. I'll leave it all up to you. This is.
Oh God, no! Please don't.
Yeah.
What you gonna get me to explain?
Hello, everyone. I want to share a video with you today that I hadn't seen before.
No.
It's hilarious and just constitutes more clear evidence that outer space is faked in large swimming pools. No one ever went to the moon, and no one is in space right now. I'm sure you remember this clip where you can see a scuba diver in black in the reflection on the cosmonaut's helmet visor.
No, you can't.
That one's a classic. But even with this evidence, the trolls still defend this nonsense. I've shared this video several times, but you can see water debris that moves with the cosmonaut's hand. Any professional diver can tell you that is exactly what happens in water, and this most certainly shouldn't happen in space.
Well, no, it doesn't
There
happen
are
like that.
hundreds of examples where you can see bubbles in space. Here are some bubbles that are visible from inside the ISS. Here's a clip from the NASA's Neutral Buoyancy Lab. The Neutral Buoyancy Lab is where they have a full-sized ISS in a giant swimming pool.
The Neutral Buoyancy Lab is the largest swimming pool in North America. It contains a full-size replica of the space station.
I do find it interesting that NASA thought it important to build a mock ISS in a swimming pool where they could fake space, but never actually thought it prudent to fully assemble the real ISS in a warehouse where it could undergo extensive engineering testing before subjecting astronauts to the
What? That's a ridiculous statement.
It's a stupid statement, isn't it? Yeah.
And what are you going to test? The effects of gravity when it's, when it's in the...
I mean, the neutral buoyancy pool, is well documented. There's tons and tons of videos out there. You get a lot of blurs seem to think that somehow NASA are hiding this thing, but they're not. They're posting videos about this neutral buoyancy pool all over the place all the time.
And the thing that gets me is when they're in the neutral buoyancy tank, it's quite clear. You can tell they have a different suit on. There's different apparatuses attached to the suit because they're in water and they're trying to simulate. And then they somehow transfer that to the space. So like, even the way water is shot through the, even if you green screened it, you could still tell it was not in. It was still in water. So.
Here's the very simple thing to remember. What happens to bubbles? They go in one direction, don't they? They all go one direction, up. We all know that, right?
Yeah.
Well, you look in these videos when they claim there's bubbles, and they're all going in different directions.
Yeah.
Really?
This one. Can we go back to this one? Here, will it?
Yeah, go back a little bit.
Yeah, it's there somewhere.
Somewhere around there.
water debris that moves with the cosmonaut's hand.
It's moving in different directions.
Any professional diver
can... So that one went down here. That one's going across there. That one's going up there. And that one's going
tell you that is exactly what happens in water.
There isn't just one explanation as to what that is.
Shouldn't happen in space.
It can be.
There are hundreds of examples where you can see bubbles in space.
Who else?
Here are some bubbles that are visible engineering testing before subjecting astronauts to the imaginary dangers of space.
And it's sort of like, you can see these bubbles, what they're definitely doing. So you're going to argue bubbles, why aren't they doing that?
Yeah.
As more proof of fakery, in this video from the Neutral Buoyancy Lab, you can see a green screen behind the full-sized replica of the ISS in a swimming pool where they are obviously faking space.
There you go. Can you explain that
I
one?
don't know. I don't know what that about. I don't know what that is about. To be honest with you,
My suspicion is that no, there's no way you could actually know. You don't know what that is. Is it the angle that they're looking at the LCD screen? Is it it actually just the color of the water?
Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
There
But the thing
is no other.
The big point is it's in a spot where you expect it to be the neutral buoyancy thing. So everything you're going to see is going to be, people astronauts in a water tank. So
Other purpose for the green screen.
Right.
If you're claiming the green screen is only used for training, then show us these admitted fake videos of space filmed from the Neutral Buoyancy Lab. But the video I want to really share today comes from this space-loving channel. I spent a couple of wasted hours trying to find the original NASA video. I could not find the original NASA video anywhere, and I hope one of you can maybe find it. Unfortunately, it does seem that NASA is purging these blunders from the internet as
that's because that's not the same video.
Nonsense.
NASA gets better at not making mistakes. Regardless, this video is originally from NASA and was certainly filmed from inside NASA's.
That's not the same. That's the control room, right? And that's the control room they're showing there. That's not the same room.
Yeah.
So
It's not, is it?
no. So I'm not sure what he's looking at, but is it NASA? Like, is this thing that I find it's got NASA on there? So what's the age of this one? Is that the ISS?
I don't know.
Is that the ISS?
That looks like a part of the ISS. Yeah, looking at the Soyuz.
Yeah, that's a Soyuz
That's
attachment.
those things. Those panels you can see are radiators. So yeah, I would say that was the ISS. But the other parts, I really don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
Because he's trying to argue that very blurry image here is divers, but you can't see enough of it to know what it is.
No, you can't. You
Control
can't
center.
tell what it is.
Yeah.
This alleged spacewalk was Russian EVA-22 conducted on June 5th, 2009. What's important is just the first few seconds of the video. Here's the clip unedited.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what's
Open
important
the
is the first
hook.
few seconds. Don't mind the rest.
You just have to
Yeah,
grip
not this one.
the base of the hook and press.
This was an official alleged NASA spacewalk. This is supposed to be in space.
I think
But
that was the Russian spacewalk, by the sounds of things. So
Yeah.
NASA would have been broadcasting it, possibly. Yeah.
Let's get back to the NASA blunder. Here's the clip again, and you want to be paying attention to the top left television monitor.
Open the hook. You just have.
Here I have slowed it down.
But that could be them playing what their training was, couldn't it not?
I doubt it. No, I just can't tell what that is. I mean, it could be the camera that's actually on one of the astronauts. It could be. That's what they're looking at in the control center there.
Because what he's arguing is
That's
these
what
two
it looks
things.
to me.
Could they be shadows?
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, what they're seeing in the control room isn't
And
necessarily
here it is.
what's being broadcast.
No, I know. But yeah.
In.
But
It's a
you
bit
can't
blurry, but
can't
you
tell
can
anything
most
from that,
certainly
really.
see scuba divers in black in the water assisting the alleged cosmonauts next to a mock ISS at the exact same time that NASA is conducting a spacewalk.
Well, I think the fact that you can't find the video is a bit sus anyway, so...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know.
Does
I
NASA
honestly can't answer that. I don't know.
No, don't know. We'd have to
I
look
mean, it could
Well,
be.
it's something-
I mean, here's the theory. It could be that if they were doing, if they had a video of the mock-up, they were perhaps following because what they do is you see when there's going to be, because quite often when a group of astronauts go to the ISS, they're already trained as to what EVAs they're going to do already. Okay, nine times out of 10, they know exactly what they're going to be doing. All right, so so each crew rotation, they know what walks they're going to do. So they go into the neutral buoyancy and they practice it over and over and over again, so they know exactly what to do and when to do it. All right. So my theory is that they could have videoed the rehearsals in the neutral buoyancy, and they've got that up on the screen that they're following along. You see what I mean? In mission control, so they can actually see whoever's actually controlling it. So that could have been it, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I might have to see if we find that. But I think, the fact you can't find the video is a bit weird. Yeah, go on, Blue.
How about this idea? Those two videos don't go together at all.
Maybe, yeah, exactly.
How about this? Maybe that video is a training video when they were doing their training in the tank.
Yeah.
And that is the real video when they're in space.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Because you'd think you'd find
How about
that's
not simultaneous?
Yeah, maybe. Exactly.
I absolutely don't believe NASA would be sitting there looking at a videotape of bullshit that went on in a tank a year ago when they've got guys outside the ISS.
Well, yeah.
That ain't going to fucking happen.
And you think more than a year ago, because look at the screens. These are all CRT, aren't they? Down here. So how long ago was this?
Who can tell?
Oh, they're in the bottom of it.
No, this was a while ago.
No, I'm just comparing. If you look at, where's his shot of? Oh, maybe not. Somewhere there. So see how clear, crisp that image is. These are all what's-he tanks. And then you look at this image.
That's a different room. That's a different room for sure.
Yeah, but why would you have such a blurry image? This feels a bit sus to me. Anyway.
Yeah, it does a bit, I must admit.
So I might have to investigate. I might see if we can find anything.
Yes, that VHS tape wasn't as good as we thought it was, huh?
Yeah, so it might be a while ago.
I don't think that's the ISS either.
This one, it's hard to tell what that is. It's just so blurry.
No.
Yeah, it's a bit weird that it's very blurred as well. Anyway, it's a bit strange, and the rest of the screens are quite clear, so that's a bit sus.
Yeah. So why is this image?
You just got to say, well, I don't know. You just don't know where that's come from.
Don't know. Yeah. So
and the fact, like you said, the fact that you can't find the original.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird anyway, you know.
And this one is the same thing, trying to argue that black shape is a scuba diver. It's like, no. Got no evidence of that.
Didn't look like a scuba diver to me.
No. It could be the shadow of the sky. It could be, it's so much that could be. It's hardly substantial. Yeah. Then obviously goes through the usual rubbish about all the artifacts and stuff in space. So,
the artifacts, glitches, blah blah blah.
Glitches and screen, usual stuff. Okay. Do you ever notice that there are idiots and diabolic geniuses at the same time? Is that Mia? Was the question from Don Giovanni. Don't know if that was that's not me. Is it, Matt?
Yeah, no, that would have been me.
I don't know. Merely a mistake by an FE.
Merely a what? Yeah.
That's not me.
That's not me.
No,
that's not me.
I was going to say, is Mia's fell out of the sky, didn't it? Am I right?
Yeah.
Mia not in space anymore. Hadn't been in space for
a long time ago.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, it's lunchtime. Farmers, you're going to sneak on, farmers, in the middle of your lunchtime? Expose yourself to your new workplace? We were saying before
according to Hitchhiker's Farmers, lunchtime is an illusion, remember.
Have they got you out in the field, or are you stuck in the office? There's no. You could be out trying to tell them what the difference between an air duct is and a Chinese duck. What else have I got? That was a very bad joke. I won't do it again.
I don't know. That very well could be Mir.
It could be me.
Yeah.
Didn't look like Mia to me.
So it
You
didn't
want
look
to see
like
a
me.
picture of Mir?
Yeah.
You got a picture of me?
Yep.
Hang on, let me share. Make it so you can share. There you go. You can share now if you want.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures as well. Some of the pictures of me. Yeah, you could be right, Blue. You could be right. It could be Blue. It could be Mia.
Well, that'd make it very old. If that's me.
I'm just looking at the size of the solar panels and stuff.
Yeah, I was just looking at that same picture, Blue. Yeah, you might be right, actually.
I'm just flicking between the two.
Yeah.
Actually, if you look at that bottom
Yeah.
section at a different angle, yeah, it could be.
That's Mir.
Oh, there
Yeah.
you go. There's me. That's old then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Blind bastard.
What's for lunch, farmers, by the way? Yes. What surprise. Just usual stuff. What else have I got in here? I could do a Lindsay. What's Lindsay got today? Lindsay was going to try and tell us. There you go.
Just looking at that, like the Mir space station, it was a mess.
What else have I got?
It was a bit of a mess, wasn't it?
Oh, I can hear myself. Don't want to hear myself. Oh. Okay. Lindsay was going to do understanding basics. Well, yeah, he doesn't even want to do that. Or what else have I got? Misunderstood sextant. That's what I put on it. Paul doesn't want to. I don't think I'll ever show Paul my notes. You know, when I write these things down, he doesn't really want to see that I just put misunderstood as MISUNSY ud sextant SECTANT. Lucky the notes.
Oh dear.
Just write enough that I know what I'm talking about. I think spell check my running sheet. I don't know. I was also in the dark, so I've got to admit it was a bit rough, that one. Okay, let's have a look. Who's doing misunderstood sextant? I can't remember now. These notes I make. I have hold on a minute once we know.
I do enjoy it. This is a pretty bold claim here about celestial navigation, and it necessitates one gaining a basic understanding of how celestial navigation is done in order to determine whether or not the claim is valid. When I first heard the claim, I was skeptical, for I honestly didn't understand the first thing about celestial navigation, and frankly, it seemed hard to grasp how all the mariners, ostensibly over the last few hundred years, believed they lived on a spherical world, while somehow using celestial navigation, which is, according to this claim, only possible upon a planar world. In other words, if they believe the Earth to be a sphere, how is it possible for them to successfully utilize the techniques involved with celestial navigation in the first place? Well, the short answer is that celestial navigation requires triangulation or trigonometry. Trigonometry requires triangles, and triangles require straight line edges, not curved ones, categorically so. Of course, when you see how
Doesn't actually try 3 sides though, just needs an angle.
celestial navigation actually requires a flat Earth, then you witness globers clinging to the notion that such triangulation is possible upon a spherical Earth. The cognitive dissonance becomes obvious. So if you're going to try and find out where you are on the world or in the ocean, you're going to need a sextant to precisely measure the elevation angle or the altitude of a given star. You'll also need to know the exact date and time, and of course you'll need an accurate, detailed map as well. But a good sextant and a decent map are not going to be enough. You're going to need an astronomical almanac for the current year. Without this key resource, even the best observations, measurements, and mathematical prowess won't do you any good, even if you do have a map, a compass, and an accurate clock. Okay, so the clock isn't 100% necessary, as there are methods to determine the exact Greenwich Mean Time, for example, the lunar method without a clock, but for the purposes of this video, we'll just say you need an accurate clock too. So the Celestial Almanac, again, for the rudimentary purposes of this video, contains details about many easily identifiable stars and exactly where they'll be on a given date and time. Or maybe better stated than where they'll be, we should say the exact GP or geographical position of the star at any given date and time during that year. This is the key information that you'll need to determine your position relative to the GP of the selected stars based on the elevation angle of said visible stars with reference to this.
It's got it wrong already. Why do you need 90?
Nautical almanac I just mentioned. So once you've established the elevation angle for a given star, along with the current date and time, along with the nautical almanac to determine the current ground position of the star that you're viewing, and then your exact distance to that ground position based on aforementioned elevation angle using trigonometry. So once you've established these, you have an accurate idea of your proximity to the GP of the given star.
Oh, that Paul?
I'm just saying no.
No. I just want to see when he gets to the map, because there's a lot of stuff wrong with what he said there. But okay, let's say he can get the GP, and he can work out how far away from him. I want to see how does he go on from there. That's a really big killer.
But that can be a very wide area, described as a great circle around the star's GP, which is called a circle of equal altitude, all depending on which star you're observing and its current elevation angle at the given date and time. See, this is what I never understood about celestial navigation, which finally clicked for me once I realized that the key was this nautical almanac. Again, you will need a firm grasp of astronomy in general, in order to determine one star from the other. It is well documented in this almanac exactly where a given star will be in terms of its GP on any given date and time. But of course, you must determine the star's elevation angle, coupled with the current date and time, to establish your distance or your circle of equal altitude from the star. The term circle of equal elevation means that if you were standing at any point on this circle, the star in question would be the same altitude or the same elevation angle in the sky, whether...
No, it doesn't mean that. Anyway.
You were, say, standing way over on the west side of the circle or even on the complete opposite east side of it. As a side note, isn't it amazing how predictable and cyclical the heavenly luminaries behave? I mean, in a heliocentric paradigm, the last thing one would expect for the heavens is for them to behave like clockwork. Given all the variables involved with the standard model, the stars are supposedly in hypersonic orbital velocities, while the Earth, too, is supposedly adherent to the sun's galactic orbit, while the Earth spins around the sun off-kilter and wobbling, and yet the heavenly cycles are more perfectly predictable than clockwork. Truly amazing.
Yeah, well, go ahead and predict them then.
Yeah, go. Yeah, you work it out on the flat Earth model.
Yeah, I mean, he says they're perfectly predictable, but let's actually see him go and predict them.
Yeah, based on a flat Earth surface. Yeah.
When considering the flat Earth hypothesis, this fact about the celestial luminaries' cyclical nature is not very surprising at all, while in the standard heliocentric model, such a thing is completely and totally counterintuitive. Anyways, once you've established the circle of equal altitude, which is a loaded phrase in my opinion, but again, has nothing to do with the altitude of the circle, but rather...
Why is they calling the altitudes? Oh, dear. Okay, well, we'll move on from that. That's just him trying to transpose the info.
The altitude of the star would be the same from any point on that circumference, which could...
So what's the altitude of the star? How high above the surface is it?
be hundreds or even thousands of miles around, depending on the star and your distance to it. Once you've gleaned the line of position, which is really just a small segment of that circle we just mentioned, you would set out to observe another star, measure its altitude.
Am I right in
azimuth,
saying you
or
only need an
elevation.
angle, right? That's all you need.
Yeah. This 90 degrees stuff is rubbish because you go from your zenith down to the star. You don't go from the 90 degrees up to the star. That's not how you work it out. Yeah. So you don't. It's not triangulation at all. So.
Angle in cardinal direction to establish a second circle of equal elevation for the GP of the second star. Now, when you trace a circle around the GP of that second star, it should intersect or overlap with the circle of equal elevation of the first star, narrowing down your actual position on the world with each and every star that you apply to this process. The more stars you observe and plug in, the more accurate your position on the world becomes. Bada bing, bada boom, Bob's your uncle, and now you're celestial navigating. And that's the long and short of it. Sure, it gets way more complex than this.
Yeah,
I'd love to know which map he's actually drawing his circles on.
That's what I want to know, because that's the thing, isn't it? He's trying to make it. He's trying to make it a little simple. Like, okay, we'll pick a few spots down in the southern hemisphere and see how you go.
Basic overview, but hopefully now we can understand how celestial navigation is simply mutually exclusive to a spherical Earth and demands a planar surface for the baseline of 90-degree triangles used to determine the circle of equal altitude around the GP of the star. If you were to try to apply this logic towards a globe, you would find that you cannot.
Well, look at how wrong that is. Anyway.
Yeah.
90 degrees would be like here if it was 90 degrees to the Earth, for a start. You can't even draw that right,
Get a 90 degrees to the GP of the star on a spherical Earth. It just.
Because it's this south is down view of the Earth, isn't it?
Yeah, that's kind of.
So how old is this video, Timbo?
Let's have a look. It came up as a new one, but maybe it's a repost.
Could be.
2 days ago it was posted. Yeah, couldn't that only 2 days
good
ago?
grief! Not that mongoloid.
Yeah, that one. So this video we take a look at. So I don't know. As I said, it says 2 days ago. I don't know if it's older than that, but yeah, this has been gone over a long time ago. It's not even close.
Well, I mean, if he finds it so easy to do celestial navigation, why didn't he accept Toon's
challenge? Yeah.
Nobody did.
I really wish that Toon had picked a spot in the southern hemisphere when he did that first. When he did his mini challenge, because that would have really shown him up. But I think he was trying to be nice.
Simply cannot be. Again, the key part of this process, which is exclusive to flat Earth.
That cannot be because you're drawing it wrong for a start. I don't. How many of these guys? I mean, it's obviously they can't comprehend this idea that zenith is where you are, and you measure down from there to the star, not the other way. So it's all nonsense. But even though yes, you can measure tangential to an arc, it's like it doesn't really matter. It's not what you're measuring anyway. So.
And simply couldn't work on a sphere is the fact that trigonometry used to determine your distance from the GP of the star in question relies upon a 90-degree angle adjacent to the ground. In simple terms, you cannot have a 90-degree angle adjacent to a curved edge. The only reason celestial navigation works is because trigonometry relies upon triangles, which always have 3 straight-line edges. To hammer this home, I'm going to quote the wiki page on celestial navigation. Again, this is a quote from Wiki. For navigation,
because Wiki is unvetted.
It's always correct, isn't it? Always right source of information.
I mean, it is probably correct, but it's not like it's a science journal.
But I'm pretty sure Wiki says that the Earth's a globe as well, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So he'll pick what he wants.
When on the surface of the Earth for any given instant in time, a celestial body is located directly over a single point on the Earth's surface. Yes. The latitude and longitude of that point is known as the celestial body's geographic position, or GP, the location of which can be determined from tables in the nautical or air almanac for that year.
Yes.
The measured angle between the celestial body and the visible horizon is directly related to the distance between the celestial body's GP and the observer's position. After some computations referred to as sight reduction, this measurement is used to plot a line of position, or LOP, on a navigational chart or plotting worksheet, the observer's position being somewhere on that line. The LOP is actually a short segment of the very large circle on Earth that surrounds the GP of the observed celestial body. An observer located anywhere on the circumference of this circle on Earth, measuring the angle of the same celestial body above the horizon at that instant of time, would observe that body to be at the same angle above the horizon. Sights on two celestial bodies give two such lines on the chart, intersecting at the observer's position. Actually, the two circles would result in 2 points of intersection arising from sights on two stars as described above, but one could be discarded since it will be very far from the estimated position acquired by dead reckoning or estimation. Most navigators will use sights of 3 to 5 stars if available, since that will result in only one common intersection and minimalizes the chance of error. That premise is the basis for the most commonly used method of celestial navigation, referred to as the altitude intercept method. At least 3 points must be plotted. The plot intersection will usually provide a triangle where the exact position is inside of it. Accuracy of the sights is indicated by the size of the triangle. End quote. To take this a step further, whomever first...
The thing is that, okay, first of all, if it only works on a flat Earth, how come all these people who are doing it based on a spherical Earth find out where they are? And definitely, you obviously can't demonstrate it on a flat Earth map. You don't have one. So,
first established this process described must have been totally aware of the world's planar nature, to be sure. When researching who first developed celestial navigation, of course, the standard narrative is, well, it's hairy. According to the Canadian Encyclopedia on Navigation, question is, did the Greeks use celestial navigation? Answer, again according to Canadian Encyclopedia, says, quote, evidence suggests that the Phoenicians, the Arabs, and ancient Greeks were familiar with the use of nighttime positions of stars and constellations to aid in marine navigation, but this knowledge was lost to Europeans in the Dark Ages and only regained after about the year 1000 from the Arabs. End quote. However, when I searched the web for who invented the sextant, it yielded the result of 2 or even 3 men: John Campbell, a Royal Navy officer who died in 1790, and Sanford Lockwood Clewitt.
somehow I don't think it was Sanford Lockwood Clewitt.
No.
No.
It was being used many, many centuries before him.
We definitely know it was used in the early 18th century. I don't think that guy was alive then. And so, yes, can easily rule him out.
Who died in 1968. Another site says the first sextant was produced by John Bird in 1759. Quote, this is a very early example of his work now in the Netherlands Scheepvaart Museum in Amsterdam. The frame is mahogany with an ivory scale. It's so large and heavy that it needed a support.
It's none of those.
That fitted into a socket on the observer's belt. End quote. So yet again, we find very unclear answers to a rather straightforward question. Invented the sextant? If the sextant was first invented in the 1700s, according to one source, then how was such technology available to the ancients who ostensibly invented this process involved with celestial navigation? I doubt we'll...
Well, they didn't say they used a sextant. They said they were able to navigate using the stars. So,
yeah.
Doesn't mean they had a sextant.
Ever have straightforward answers to many of these questions, but one thing we know for sure is celestial navigation only works on flat Earth, couldn't possibly work on a globe, and the people who invented celestial navigation and the people who invented sextants must have known the truth. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you...
That's a ridiculous... Because people who do celestial navigation base it on a globe, so saying that it can only work on a flat Earth is just ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, going by Wiki, as he's used Wiki, according to Wiki, if he actually used it, because he used Wiki earlier on, but then he wouldn't use the Wiki to find out when a sextant was actually first used. And it says here the principle of the instrument was first implemented around 1731 by John Hadley, 1682 to 1744, and Thomas Godfrey, 1704 to 1749. But it's weird that he used Wiki earlier on, but then he didn't want to use Wiki to figure out when the sextant was first used. Yeah.
Particularly, it says one guy that obviously did not invent the sextant.
Right.
Yeah.
Greetings, YouTubers. and
Sextants
welcome
are
to
not the only way to measure angles.
No,
Right.
that's right. That's just one method. Yeah.
Friggin' Greeks had astrolabes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
they do the same thing, just not as accurately.
yes, so it was used long before sextants. Yes, Larry, as has been pointed out by Blue. It's such an old thing to get into too. It's sort of like, and we've already covered all that. I thought everyone had dropped the sextant stuff. Anyway, he's always welcome to try the challenge and prove that it's possible. He won't, but
Right.
So we will listen to
is Toon Daft that challenge open? Is it still open? Is it your?
Yeah, I think
Is
so.
he ended it?
I think he's Toon Sextant challenge. Pretty sure it still is. 10,000 version 2 released. Sorry, so you can see. No, it looks like it's still going.
Still going? Still open? Yep, still not. So how long has that been going for now? A long time. Nobody's done it.
That one was released February 19th. Is there a date there somewhere? Yeah, well, this link of that last challenge was 22. So March, 24th of March, 2022 was when he released the last download file. And that was version 2 where he allowed them to use... allowed them to use the almanac, because initially you had to use nothing that was based on a globe, but they said, oh well, you can use the almanac because our whinging that they reckon the almanac was reverse engineered. So, g'day, Dr. Nimrod. How you going? And yeah, so about I can see, it looks like it's still up. I don't know how long he's going to hold it up for. That's a lot of money to sit in there. I would have put an end on it because,
Well, I mean, his gravity challenge, he has put an end on it. He's literally said 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, which is fair enough. Let's see. What always gets me is how many of them say that there's no acceleration, and it's sort of like that's one of the more easy tests to check. Is there an acceleration in gravity? It's not something that's really hard to fly. Floatwood Mick. No, that is not the answer. So I was going to do some PhD Tony. I haven't seen this one, so let's see what he has to say.
episode 3 of Lies Flurfs Tell. Today we're going to be considering the flat earth lie, sea level is flat. Contrary to popular perception, the study of sea level is actually extremely complicated, and we're going to have to introduce some concepts that most people will never have heard of.
Whoops.
It drops gravitational effects. In other words, we're excluding here tidal effects, currents, and winds. I've already omitted some of the more technical details because some rotational effects are tides, but we'll skip over that. Here is a schematic diagram showing the relationship between geoid height and the reference ellipsoid. The significance of the geoid is that any object moving under the influence of gravity moves perpendicular to the equipotential surface at that point. We can therefore map the geoid by precisely observing gravitational effects. This is being done by extended observational campaigns including ground-based gravity stations and airborne, shipborne and satellite-based gravimetric observations. Obviously, for airborne and shipborne observations, the motion of the vessel needs to be compensated for. This requires purpose-built instruments with integrated environmental controls and gyrostabilization. There are a wide variety of commercially available models, some of which I am showing here. In an actual observation campaign, these instruments are placed in appropriate craft and then transported along carefully selected paths. The first global geoid map was produced by the Russians in 1952, but this effort only achieved a spatial resolution of about 500 kilometers. Since the 1970s, these more traditional forms of gravity observation have been supplemented by satellite observations. In their most basic form, the satellites are simple spheres covered by retroreflectors. Tracking the motion of the satellites using ground-based laser stations allows us to reconstruct the gravitational influence on the satellites through their path. The next increment in sophistication was the CHAMP mission, which incorporated both retroreflectors and onboard accelerometers, which were used to remove any non-gravitational influence on the craft. Increasing
the
in
end, Dr.
sophistication
Nimmo.
again, we have the GOCHE mission, which used onboard gravity gradiometers to measure Earth's gravitational field. But the current state of the art in satellite gravimetry are the GRACE and GRACE follow-on missions. In both missions, twin satellites are deployed one behind the other, each following the same orbital path. The mean separation between the craft is 220 kilometres, but variations in this intersatellite distance are precisely measured and used to reconstruct gravitational influences. As the satellites approach a mass concentration on or within the Earth, the lead satellite is more strongly affected by its gravitational influence and accelerates away from the following craft. The intersatellite range thus increases. Once the lead satellite is past the mass concentration decelerates the satellite. Meanwhile, the following satellite is still accelerating and catches up, so that the intersatellite range is decreasing. Once both satellites are past the mass concentration, the following satellite is more strongly affected by it and more greatly decelerated. Thus, the intersatellite range increases again. The resulting variations in intersatellite distance are measured using high-precision laser ranging techniques that are accurate to within 1 micron. As with most near-Earth satellite missions, the positions of the craft are recorded via onboard GPS receivers. Careful analysis of the intersatellite range data allows us to reconstruct Earth's gravitational field, and combining it with all the other data allows us to reconstruct the geoid with a spatial resolution of about 10 kilometers and a vertical accuracy of about 2 centimeters. The results of our analysis demonstrate that the geoid is generally within 100 meters of the reference ellipsoid, but that there are significant variations in geoid height. In other words, the equipotential surface coinciding with mean sea level is not flat. Beyond direct measurements of Earth's gravitational field, there is another dataset we can use to constrain mean sea surface height, and that is satellite altimetry. As I discussed in the first episode of this series, satellite altimetry works by broadcasting a time-encoded radio signal down to the surface and seeing how long it takes to return to the craft. This schematic diagram illustrates some of the complexities involved in this analysis, showing the distinction between instantaneous sea surface height, mean sea surface height, and the geoid. The diagram also shows 2 independent observational datasets that we can use to validate the altimetry results, those being tide gauge readings and satellite navigation system data. There is a very broad range of techniques available for recording sea surface height at tide gauges. Older techniques include simple measuring sticks or float-based systems, while more modern tide gauge stations use pressure sensors or ultrasound or radio waves to detect ocean surface height. Whichever technique is used, an array of supplementary data must also be collected: wind strength and direction, air and water temperature, and any vertical land motion of the tide gauge itself, which is detected and corrected for using GNSS data. In this figure, we see an intercomparison between satellite altimetry data, shown as crosses or triangles, against water level gauge data, which is shown as a solid line, for Lake Superior. We can immediately see that the agreement between the two datasets is extremely good, with a weighted RMS difference of less than 2.5 centimeters. The other technique we can use to validate satellite altimetry data is placing GNSS receivers on research vessels or buoys. We can then compare the position of the GNSS receiver against the position inferred using the altimetry data. Here we see just such an intercomparison, which shows that the two datasets agree to within 20 centimeters at most, and are generally much closer than that. We can therefore confirm, using 2 independent tests, that sea surface height inferred from altimetry is accurate when compared with tide gauge data and GNSS data. We can use the altimetry data to create a global map of mean sea surface height, which is shown here. Again, we see that mean sea surface height cleaves reasonably closely to the reference ellipsoid, but we again see significant deviations of the order of 100 meters, again confirming the result: sea level is not flat. Even flat earthers should be able to recognize the similarity between the geoid and mean sea surface height, but these two quantities are not in fact the same. Winds and currents produce systematic differences between the two that are known as the mean dynamic topography, or more correctly, the mean dynamic ocean topography. The magnitude of this effect is everywhere less than 1.5 meters, so much smaller than the undulations in the geoid. Nonetheless, its mere existence confirms the fact sea level is not flat. Many of you may have noticed the fact that the geoid drops more than 100 meters below the reference ellipsoid just south of India, but that the geoid rises by more than 50 meters as you move northwest or northeast along the Indian coast. I wanted to bring particular attention to this feature because not only does it demonstrate emphatically that sea level is not flat, but its existence was inferred many decades before we had instruments accurate enough to map the geoid. John Pratt, in his analysis of the Great Trigonometrical Survey data, was Cormoran. In his calculations, he overestimated how large this difference was, but that he was able to determine that it would be significant at all is nonetheless impressive, especially given the limitations on both the data and the computational resources available to him. Okay, so that's where I might call it for today. Just to recap what I've covered, Howard. Today I introduced the concept of the geoid, which is the equipotential surface corresponding with mean sea level. This is the geometry that the sea surface would adopt in the absence of dynamic forcing. This surface has been mapped with a vertical accuracy of 2 centimeters and a spatial resolution of 10 kilometers. This has been achieved through an ongoing observational campaign that combines ground-based, airborne, shipborne, and satellite-based gravimetric measurements. The geoid is observed to deviate from the reference ellipsoid by as much as 100 meters in some instances, demonstrating that sea level is emphatically not flat. This result is confirmed by satellite altimetry of mean sea surface height, which is in turn validated by GNSS observations and by tide gauge data. So if you ever hear a flat earther making the absurd claim that sea level is flat, you will instantly recognise that this is nothing more than the demented rambling of a lunatic who has lost all connection with observable reality. To be fair, you probably realise that already, but it's nice to have data backing up your intuition. Okay, that does it for today. Thank you so much for watching, I really do appreciate it, and I hope you'll join me next time when I'll be discussing the next Flirth lie, Einstein superseded Newton.
I always find it funny when Tony makes a statement that, you know, even a flat earther would recognise this. No, flat earther wouldn't follow half of what you just said. Well, but it was good. He does prove a point. Okay. Well, we do have, as Dart has pointed out, don't know if you saw, you know, I think I showed it on the channel a few weeks ago, or a week or so ago, Dan trying to get Leo to debunk the 50-minute long tour.
Yeah. Yeah, we had that last week, didn't we?
Yeah, then there was a response to Dan. Said, no, I'm not a flat earther. I don't know if you saw the one from Dan today. So, I think it was
no,
today.
I haven't actually. No.
So, I thought I'd play that because no, it's not the one. Must be this one. Come on. Too many tabs open. Here we go. So I'm only playing this for Dan's benefit. So
you're doing a correction video again. All right, sorry, that's good.
Yeah. Oop.
Yeah. So I'm just.
I went back. Hang on a sec. Oops. Go back. There we are.
Hi everyone. So bit of a different video here. I need to make a correction because I've misrepresented someone and I do not want to be doing that. So a couple of weeks ago I called out Level Earth Observer, who is someone who I talk about on this channel quite a lot, and I try and debunk some of his claims. 2 weeks ago I asked him to try and debunk the 50-minute ISS tour video because I think it's undebunkable. And here comes my challenge. Level Earth Observer, or any flat earther for that matter, I challenge you to sit through this entire video, watch it, and then debunk it. Myself and another guy called Pete, we put a video together and we highlighted some of the issues that we think Level Earth Observer come up with in regards to trying to tackle this video, because we both think it's undebunkable, and since then Planner Walk has also highlighted this video. Now, Level Earth Observer did go on to address our initial call out video, and he said he will look at the 50-minute video if I make a correction.
Correct your mistakes and then I'll entertain your propaganda and I'll tear it left, right and centre. Destroyed it before it even begun. Now it's on you. Correct your misrepresentations and I'll tear your propaganda to pieces.
So that's what I'm about to do. Okay, so first off I want to apologise to Level Earth Observer for labelling him a flat earther. He is not a flat earther, he is a demonstrable realist. That's how he wants to be known, a demonstrable realist. So we'll call him a demonstrable realist. So apologies there, Level Earth Observer. And obviously as well, I misrepresented some of the things which he believes. I mean, who am I to tell him what he believes? So let's go over some of the fundamentals that he believes. Okay, the first one is that you can't have an air pressure system residing next to a vacuum. That's his first claim. Okay, second claim is that tower cranes and pendulums don't have the ability to be dead still and plumb whilst we are moving in all different directions. Obviously he's referring there to the Earth's movement, which is its rotation, its orbit around the sun, its orbit around the galaxy, etc, etc. And his final fundamental claim is that large standing bodies of water don't have the ability to display convexity upon its surface. So those are his three fundamental claims. I apologise if I have put words in your mouth. I apologise for calling you a flat earther. I'm making the correction now. So now, Level Earth Observer, you are totally free to have a look at that 50-minute ISS video, which apparently you're going to destroy for us. So I look forward to seeing that. Thanks very much, everyone. Please do like and subscribe. Please do share this video. Get it to Level Earth Observer. Make sure he sees it. See what happens.
So he's removing all impediment for Leo to actually respond to it properly now. He's got to. So he's going to have to address that whole ISS tour. He's got to. He's got no excuses. But he won't. He'll skirt around it like he always does. Hello? Anybody hear me?
Yeah, of course he will skirt around it. He'll find some excuse not to respond. There'll be something Dan's missed that he hasn't apologised for. You know,
or that it hasn't shown demonstrable evidence of the Earth or something or other. It'll be one of these things.
Yeah. Yeah, like he'll do exactly what he did in his initial response video, and that's what he'll do. He'll just say, "Oh well, you know, the globe Earth is scientifically impossible, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. I've already debunked it, yada." But you see an astronaut or astronauts, floating around the space station without any sign of any harnesses, or any signs of any CGI. Go through hatchways, closing doors, etc., 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 and there's just no sign of any, and not one flurf will touch it. There's no cuts in it. Well, there's one cut at the beginning, I think, after about 5 minutes, and I think after that, the rest of 45 minutes of just unedited, just one single shot. Explain it, debunk it, prove that it's fake.
Yeah, yes, he's a flat earther. I like Zebulon saying, "Hey Dan, FDF, he wants his hairdo back." I don't know if you'd see his hairdo. Does definitely look like FDF.
Yeah. Craig wants his hairdo back.
Let's do something different. I don't have a poll quiz tonight. What's this one? Ultimate Hard Quiz. I think we did this one last week. Oh, I thought I had one queued up. We did this one, didn't we? What do fish breathe? Does this look familiar?
No, I don't remember that one.
So what do fish breathe, Matt?
Well, what do all things breathe? Oxygen.
Oxygen. What does mitochondria do in a cell?
Oh, can't remember.
Anyone?
Use energy.
Create energy, did you say?
I did.
You did.
Create energy for the cell.
On the periodic table, what does K stand for? Potassium. Gold.
Potassium.
Potassium.
Yeah, I'd expect Paul to answer that one.
Oh, yeah. So this would be. What do you call someone who studies insects? Entomologist. Entomologist.
Yeah.
A bit weird. I would go with a bit
Is this
weird.
supposed to be hard?
It's meant to be hard. See, look up here. Can you see the quote? The ultimate hard science quiz is its title. Okay.
Oh dear.
What creates rainbows? Curved prisms. Oh, where's curved prisms in there?
Refraction.
Yeah. Don't forget the mirrors. You need the mirror, Timbo. You got to have a mirror.
Curved mirror.
Droplets of water would be the correct answer.
Or refraction, isn't it?
Refracting through rain. I would have thought light refracting through rain out of that list.
Yeah.
Well, there's not the others.
Refraction. It's reflection as well.
Yeah. I realise that. But
Refraction and reflection.
Yeah, but out of that list, I think it's obviously not leprechauns. Which gas makes fizzy drinks bubbly? Well, that's obviously carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide.
No, it's fizzy bubbly.
Have
you ever watched Don't Mess with the Zohan?
All right. So it's obviously methane because what comes out the other end, isn't it?
Well, I sincerely hope it's not ethylene as well.
Which of these? Sorry, does it give me the correct answer? No, don't know. I'll have to see when we get to the end. I'll just how many we got right. Bet you it's one of these ones who have to pay for the answer. Who knows? Which of these is a metal? Silicon, gold, fluorite.
Seriously?
Seriously? Okay, totally random question. Who is your
That was
favorite?
a hard quiz, was it?
Well, no, we haven't finished yet. But I was just saying, it's meant to be a hard quiz. It's meant to be the ultimate hard science quiz.
This is for Beano, by the way. Just I'd love to point that out.
Okay, what's your favorite video game character? Blue. I think Blue has to answer this question. Is it Sonic the Hedgehog? Link? Mario?
I don't do video games, so go somebody else.
That's why I was picking on you. So if there's someone in here who would not answer this question, it would be Blue. Steve. I reckon your favourite video character would be Steve. You seem like a Steve guy.
The only one I recognise out of all of those is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Really?
That's the only one I recognise. Yeah, I don't recognise any of the rest of the names that I can see. Actually, I can't really read it very well though. Oh, Mario, I know that.
I can't read it at all.
I can't read.
I could just about read Mario.
Maybe there you go. Sonic the Hedgehog, Link, Mario, Pikachu, Ratchet and Crank, Crash Bandicoot, Other Kirby, Spider-Man, and of course Steve will definitely be Blue's character. I don't know if you know Steve, but he's the Minecraft character. Okay, 5. Let's see. Okay, Cumulus and Stratus are types of what? Rappers, of course, obviously.
Oh, rappers.
Rappers.
The average smartphone can also. Oh, this was a tricky question. Here you go. Contains enough radiation to melt 3 Caramacs. Now, first of all, I had to look up what the hell a Caramac was.
What do they mean by contains enough radiation?
Yeah,
that's a bit ambiguous.
Containing radiation to melt 3 Caramacs.
Do they mean emitting radiation, or do they mean that the phone's radioactive, or
because the phone, if it's not
worded
turned on,
pretty
it's
stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we can say false.
I reckon they should rename this the dumbest science quiz.
Yes, not very well. What could you also call a legomorph? A rabbit, a toothbrush, a Dracula, or an orc?
Legomorph. Never heard of it.
Yeah, that one's got me, I've got to admit.
Something that changes, a morph, usually means morph into
So,
something.
I'm guessing...
So, Dracula?
Dracula? But... Oh,
It's
yeah.
the only thing that really changes. The rest doesn't change, does it?
No.
What does a rabbit turn into? Nothing. It's still a rabbit. A toothbrush is still a toothbrush. An orc is still an orc.
Yeah, an orc
Dracula,
doesn't change.
because when he turns into Dracula, when he Goes at night, isn't it? So,
Yeah, I haven't heard that one. I'm going to have to trace that one up. I'm suspecting
Skin.
it's skin. Yes, definitely. Skin. Okay, how do you calculate density? You get 3 first and rub them together. Mass divided by volume. Mass multiplied by volume.
Mass minus mass.
Mass minus
What?
volume. Mass minus mass. That's how you determine volume in space. That's why it's weightless.
Space weight.
Space weight. Mass divided by volume. Teeth. Okay. What do we call the teeth that we grind with our food? Gobble pigs. No. Flat teeth. No.
Gobble pigs.
Gnashes. No. Okay. I don't like any of those answers. I think they're called...
No, they're gnashes.
They're gnashes? Okay, if we're wrong,
Yeah,
we're
I
blaming
think
you
so.
because I don't think that's correct.
I reckon the most correct answer there is flat teeth.
Yeah, that's what I would.
don't
That's
know.
what I was going to
Yeah.
go with. Is flat teeth, because chew set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flat teeth. I haven't heard of that either.
No, I didn't know anyway. Okay. Oh, well, this is ridiculous. What famous font have opera spot? Look, who got it? Clive, you should know this one. Come on, 1990. Without looking at the answer, you run it.
Yeah, who's serious?
Yeah, I was laughing at that as well. Baron Victor Ron Frankenstein.
It's too out of it. Playing games.
Sebastian Fantastian.
Yes. So,
Oh, dear.
so out of that,
well,
since
it's Einstein, of course.
since it's the only scientist in
Kind of
this-
narrows it down, doesn't it?
Okay, which is the smallest planet in our solar system? Venus, Mars, Snickers, or Mercury?
Snickers or Mercury.
Put Snickers in there. At least you could have put something sensible like M&M or something, something that's at least round. Anyway, hey, what do you reckon, Matt? Definitely not Mars.
I think it's Mercury.
I think it's Mercury. I think it's Mercury too. Okay,
Yeah.
did we get answers? Give me answers. Oh, here we go. Look. Yes, it was Mercury.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Albert Einstein. Yes, it was flat teeth. Yes, mass divided by volume. That doesn't probably was skin. A rabbit is a lagomorph.
What?
A rabbit, yeah.
Really? A legomorph? What's a
What's a
legomorph?
lagomorph?
then? Don't know what a legomorph is.
It's a rabbit. There you go.
Oh, okay. There you go. Learn something new every day.
There we go. Probably not pronouncing it right. Lagomorph.
I looked at the word morph because morph usually means change.
Well, it probably does
or something.
change, but it's probably
So I
not the
thought,
change we're thinking. This is not the change you're thinking of.
No.
It changes from a rabbit to dinner. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay,
I like
we got
rabbit
one
as
right.
well.
Yeah, false about the things. Got the clouds. Ooh, got Steve wrong. Steve wasn't. Gold, yes. It's carbon monoxide. Making rain. Potassium. Yes, we got that one. Creates energy for cells, yes. Oxygen. Yeah, there you go. Well, that wasn't so hard. They lied.
Got one wrong because of me.
I didn't know it either. I didn't. I don't
what's
think
my
I've heard of that
camera?
one before. Was it?
I didn't realise my camera was on.
It is. You just came in. I thought you had
Yeah, I
something
must
to
have
show
clicked
us.
That's been on all the time, is it? I don't think. Is it?
No, it only snuck on sometime during that quiz. I didn't see exactly when.
Yeah, I must have clicked on it by mistake.
Yes. There you go. Marathon. What? Marathon? What are we... So, yeah, have I got lost here somewhere? Freddie Mercury. Two-legged moth in the yard yesterday. Well, there you go. It's BG said.
Oh, I never knew that. I never knew what a legomorph was. I didn't have a clue.
No.
Apparently it comes from the Greek lagos and morpha, which means lagos means hair, and morph means form. Form.
Oh, form rather than shape.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like a. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll probably forget that next time I see that question. But it's good to know at least I've heard it once. Ah, dear. Oh. I got some vintage blue. I was going to play. Did I play this one before? I don't think I did.
I see the phrase vintage blue is stuck since last week, since I mentioned it. Like a
yeah.
vintage blue.
Well, I wrote vintage blue on my little cheat sheet down here. It says vintage blue. That's what I call it. So
And just like
not so
just
long
like,
ago,
just like
blue.
our big blue, he just like our blue, he gets better with age.
Yes.
Vintage blue, you know, like cheese.
Like cheese. Yes, when you leave the cheese out, it gets better with age.
Yeah.
That's always one that amazed me is how did they discover that cheese gets better the longer you leave it out? It's sort of like someone was that desperate they left the cheese out. Oh, it's gone all blue. Yeah, I'll eat it anyway. Obviously, it didn't die, so therefore we'll go down that path. You sometimes wonder how people end up with this. It's like that. Is it shark or herring? Is it marinated herring that they have in one of the Scandinavian countries that smells so bad that there's laws about opening the tin inside and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
how do you ever
basically
get
it's fermented. Yeah, fermented herring, basically. Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty, no, thank you. I mean, Worcester sauce.
Yeah.
Is made from the juices of fermented, or part of the ingredients made from the juices of fermented fish.
Yeah.
Anchovies in particular.
Yeah, that's how you get that nice taste. Fish sauce taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Worcester
No,
sauce,
I was
actually,
aware of that. I've got a few things in it, but yes, that was one of the things.
Oh yeah, spices and fermented garlic, fermented onions, and all kinds of other stuff. Spices.
I have newt and stuff like that. Okay. What's the strong stroke? What? I don't get that one. I'm trying to work out what they're talking about in the peanuts.
Oh yeah, they're talking about that fish that you're talking about.
Oh, of course, that's what it's called.
Yeah,
right.
that's the name of the fish. Yeah.
Stress. Yeah. Anyone had it? I've only ever seen it on TV.
I haven't had it, and I'm not likely to either. Not going to do that. No, not going to happen.
No. There's a
mind you, it probably can't be as bad as. Have you ever tasted tripe?
Tripe, as in the dessert, or as in the inside of a stomach?
The inside of a stomach.
Yeah, I've had to eat.
It's when is tripe a dessert?
So I haven't heard of tripe being a dessert. You're not thinking of trifle, are you?
Yeah, it's tripe. Well, they used to call it my place trifle as tripe.
I think you're trotting out a load of tripe right now, Timbo.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I did. That's what my mum used to call trifle tripe. And then she'd feed
really?
then she'd feed feed
because
us.
that's the way Timbo spells it, right?
Yeah, yeah. and then she'd give us tripe, as in the stomach stuff. Oh, 'cause my mum didn't mind a bit of offal. Lamb's fry is still her favourite dish. Oh, I absolutely hate.
Lamb's fries. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably the better of the
if it's
lot.
done
but
properly.
It's still a bit, brains and all that stuff. She would have
brains is good.
Yeah, I couldn't stomach brains.
I've tried lamb's brains. That wasn't too bad. It really wasn't my cup of tea. But tripe was just. I literally had a tiniest bit. It was like it couldn't have been any more than like a millimeter. Tiny bit of tripe, but it made me let you vomit. It was disgusting.
Yeah, I know.
It's one of those foods that actually tastes worse than it smells, and it smells really bad, but it tastes even worse than it smells.
Yes.
Oh, never again. Never
I remember
again.
going out with this Asian, and that we were having Peking duck, and it was a special thing they had ordered because it takes a while to prepare, and it's split down the middle, and then they're saying, "Oh, you're the guest. You can have the brains and the beak if you want." No, it's fine. You can have that.
Yeah, I would always try something once. Most things, I draw the line at that fermented fish, and I certainly wouldn't eat any insect. But other than that, at least I'll try most things once.
I could come at eating
I'll get it
chocolate.
going.
I could come at eating chocolate coated grasshoppers. I think that would.
No, I don't think I could. No.
But yeah, I wasn't eating the brains and the beak. Paul's probably saying, "What brains? Ducks don't have brains." But
yeah, I'll try it. I have never had duck's brains. I'll try it. I'll try it.
Yeah,
I'll give it a go.
There's much nicer tasting stuff on the duck, but
I'm sure.
They hoed into it.
No,
so
I
it's
like duck. I love duck. It's lovely meat.
Yeah. Oh,
Speaking of duck, there was a Chinese restaurant that was near where my mum and dad live, and it was actually reported in the paper. There's several where we live. There's a Chinese restaurant, and near there's a what do you call an area where several rivers meet? I don't know what you call that, but anyway, there's like several the point where these three rivers kind of meet
delta
together.
or a fork?
Have a lot of ducks around there.
Yeah,
I don't know what you call it.
The delta's where they meet to the ocean, and a fork.
Yeah.
Or a conversion.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And there was a lot of ducks in the area, an awful lot of ducks. For some strange reason, they were getting reports that the duck population was going down and down and down and all this bit. And it was found that the local restaurant were just catching these ducks and putting it in their dishes. They just thought that it was fine because they were so used to it in China. You can go out and do whatever you want and catch your food if you want to. They didn't know, and it was the local restaurant that was getting these ducks, these wild ducks, and putting it in their food. Anyway, that's my local story.
Fair enough. I was going to play some Blue, wasn't I? Okay. This is, you can tell by the title in top corner.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Blue Marble Science.
Hey, Blue. How are you?
Time for some leaky geometry. I think you're going to need those oven mitts.
Leaky geometry, yeah. In
Very
many ways.
leaky.
In many ways, man.
I got some pretty cool stuff in this video showing where the surveyors claim that the surface of a sphere is not two-dimensional. And I want to show where I think the deception lies in these equations.
System is used to express relative directions, rather than for expressing exact positions on the Earth. For that, we need a position reference system where each position is precisely and unambiguously defined on the Earth's surface. An example of a position reference system is the Cartesian system. In this case, two reference axes are used, with which it is possible to express any position precisely by means of Cartesian coordinates. For example, if we want to express the position of this red point, we can observe that it is located at 4 units on the x-axis, and at 3 units on the y-axis, so the Cartesian coordinates for this point would be x4 and y3. So using these axes as reference, we can accurately and unambiguously express the position of any point within the scale, as we can see here. However, something important to keep in mind is that this Cartesian system only works on a two-dimensional surface, so it could not be correctly applied to the Earth, since it is a three-dimensional sphere. But this Cartesian system only works on a two-dimensional surface, so it could not be correctly applied to the Earth, since it is a three-dimensional sphere. However, something important to keep in mind is that this Cartesian system only works on a two-dimensional surface, so it could not be correctly applied to the Earth, since it is a three-dimensional sphere.
So what do we get from this tutorial? Okay, this mathematician thinks he lives on a sphere. So he tells us that the two-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system doesn't work on the surface of Earth. It only works on a two-dimensional surface. Okay, so he's been tricked, but he still knows that the surface of a sphere is not two-dimensional. Once you move up or down in free space, you've added a dimension. There's no getting around it. But they have to have a two-dimensional surface with their maps, or otherwise their measurements don't prove a sphere.
Brian, the guy in your video hadn't been tricked, but you've managed to confuse yourself. Let's see if we can sort this out. This is a three-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system that we're looking at. It has an origin there in where the yellow dot is. It has three axes, an X, a Y, and a Z, all perpendicular to one another. And we can place that Cartesian coordinate system anywhere we want to in the universe, and from that point, we can define the position of any other point in the universe. But you're confusing the dimensionality of objects with the 3D space that they are in. Here's an example. Let's put a point right there. Now that point has coordinates of x equal 2, y equal 4, and z equal 5. It's existing in three-dimensional space, but the point itself has no dimensions. If we add a second point, we can then define a line, and that is simply all the points lying evenly between the starting point and the ending point. And of course, the line only has one dimension. It only has length, but it's still existing in three-dimensional space. Now, if we add a third point, we have defined a plane. And as you know, a plane is two-dimensional. Much like the line, the plane is a collection of all the points that lie evenly in the surface defined by the first 3 points that we put down there. But then, of course, we can have a three-dimensional object, like a sphere. Now, of course, the sphere is a three-dimensional object. But the surface of that object is not three-dimensional, it is only two-dimensional. It's very much like the plane. It is simply the collection of points that lie equally distant from the center of that sphere. Now, each one of those points only has 2 degrees of freedom. The only thing a point on the surface of that sphere can do is change its latitude, or change its longitude, or change both. So while the volume that the surface encloses is most certainly three-dimensional, the surface of the sphere is not three-dimensional. It is only two-dimensional. And I don't know why you guys like to argue about this. The surface of any object is two-dimensional.
This is the whole trick, people. They take and map the ground on a 2D Cartesian coordinate system, then use mathematical transforms to turn it into a sphere, and then try and use the measurements to say they prove a sphere. So now we have exposed the deception, or the mistake, take your pick. Will they still go out and perpetuate the trickery? Because this is the second time I've showed them their own surveyors and map makers stressing the importance that the surface of a sphere is not two-dimensional. They know that if they admit the surface of their sphere is three-dimensional, then they lose their proof.
Brian, you had a note up there a second ago that said the only people you'd ever heard define a surface as two-dimensional are anti-flat earthers. This is the Encyclopedia Britannica. Surface. In geometry, a two-dimensional collection of points, that's flat surface. A three-dimensional collection of points whose cross-section is a curve, that's a curved surface, or the boundary of any three-dimensional solid. In general, a surface is a continuous boundary, dividing a three-dimensional space into 2 regions. For example, the surface of a sphere separates the interior from the exterior. A horizontal plane separates the half plane above it from the half plane below. Surfaces are often called by the names of the regions they enclose, but a surface is essentially two-dimensional and has an area, while the region it encloses is three-dimensional and has a volume. The attributes of surfaces, and in particular, the idea of curvature, are investigated in differential geometry. It's not just anti-flat earthers that say it, Brian. It's everybody.
Then it could be flat also. In reality, we know it could be flat because it's measured as flat, two-dimensional Cartesian coordinate systems.
I don't know, Brian. It doesn't measure flat, and it doesn't look flat. You know why? It isn't flat. Those power lines over Lake Pontchartrain are following the curvature of the Earth.
So question, is your celestial sphere two-dimensional? Because it's got to be, right, in your world?
Spheres are three-dimensional, Brian, but the surface of a sphere is two-dimensional.
So just in case they try to say, well, 3 dimensions is the volume, let me cover that base. I can already see them making a video. So listen carefully, ballers. If you consider a circle and a sphere, both are round. The differences between the two shapes is that a circle is a 2-dimensional shape and a sphere is a 3-dimensional shape, which is the reason that we can measure the volume and the area of a sphere. So just because it's not the volume, once you leave a circle, you leave the 2nd dimension. Enter the 3rd dimension. Okay, so we get the area of a circle that we talked about, 4 pi r squared or pi d squared.
Brian, 4 pi r squared is the surface area of a sphere. The area of a circle is pi r squared. What are you doing?
And it's same thing with a cube. You can get the area of a cube surface or the volume. Once you leave the square, it's 3 dimensions.
Oh dear.
Okay, I'm going to show you why they have it set up the way they do. Okay, so 6 squared, that's 2 dimensions. 6 times 6 is 36. That's 2 dimensions. If we add another function to that, we are adding another dimension. So that's for a square. Now let's try it on a cube. Okay, so 6 times 6 times 6 sides gives us the area of a cube of 216 square foot. So 6 times 6 squared, right? It's the same thing. So just to show you, double check, 10
So it's got
times
the area.
10 squared is 100. That's your square, 2 dimensions. Now times 6 sides gives you this cube of 600 square feet area. So 6 times 10 squared is 600. So by adding the extra function, you're adding another dimension. This is what they do with a cube. With a circle. They tell you 4 pi r squared is the area of a sphere. Why don't they just tell you pi d squared? It's the same as 4 pi r squared. I was saying 2 pi d, and I was wrong about that, but it's actually pi d squared. Okay, I'm going to show you in a minute.
I think it's d.
But pi times d is the area of a 2-dimensional circle.
No, Brian. Pi d is the circumference of a circle, not the area. We just went over that.
Pi d squared is adding a dimension. So let's test it out. So if the radius is 3, then we know the diameter is 6. So we're going to do 4 pi r squared, 113.097. Now we'll try it with the diameter. So pi d squared is also 113.097. Same shit. So just to
You can prove it very easily by multiplication.
You mean you want me to multiply it?
No, not multiply, multiply. Multiply.
All right. Multiply it.
7 times 13 is prove it. Go ahead.
Now first we got to put down a 13, right?
Right.
There's a 13.
Times 7.
Times 7.
Right.
7 weeks times 13, right? 7 times 3?
21.
21. 7 times 1?
7.
7. 7 and 1?
8.
And 2 to carry. 28.
Now, wait a minute.
once again with the diameter, pi d squared, 1017.876. Same shit. So you see this, y'all? It's obvious if they add the squared, they add another dimension. So they switch it up to 4 pi r squared because pi d gives you the area of a circle. Once again, that's 2 dimensions.
You just don't get it, do you? You don't.
Pi d squared gives you the area of a sphere, 3 dimensions. They've added a dimension by squaring it.
That's all, folks.
Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget the like and subscribe buttons down there. There's a link to the Patreon and the PayPal, and that'll be in the description too. So I guess with that, we'll see you guys on the next one.
It's Judy Bassett. There we go. Okay. A circle is S is 1D disc 2. Yes, that is correct. Don't you love that sort of geometry? They're so good at it. Wondered how we survived till these FEs came along. Run away. They've all gone. No one's talking to me. It's okay.
Oh, no one's talking to you, Timbo.
That's all right. I'm going to sleep.
I went shopping this afternoon, Timbo, in the town next, about 70 odd kilometres away from us. There's a guy that owns a hi-fi shop, and he's having a closing down sale because he's had enough. You know, he's got COVID at the moment, and he said, "I've had enough. I've got to retire." So he's selling all his shit really cheap, like some of the stuff's up to 90% off. So a good opportunity. So I went down and I bought two subwoofers and a center speaker, really cheap.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'm looking online at a video about one of the subwoofers I got. It's a Yamaha YST SW216. Yeah. not a fancy one or expensive one or anything, but it's good enough. And the review I'm watching on YouTube about it is obviously narrated by a robotic voice. Man, I hate that. I really hate those robotic voices. It calls it a subwoofer.
Woofer.
You get that on YouTube, particularly with people from foreign language who use the voice to text ones.
As soon as I find out it's a fake voice, I'd stop watching the videos because I can't stand it.
Yeah, I mean, you get that. So you get that sometimes in some videos that they you know, especially with scientific terms, it literally spells out what it's like you're like cation, like cation, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
I mean, some of the voices sound pretty good, but you can always tell because there's certain words or certain phrases or certain things that they just don't know about. You know. Yeah.
Yes, come and get them all the time. Yes, I understand that. Sometimes when I fall asleep, my YouTube just goes into these Reddit, you know, there's channels where they just read out Reddit posts. I don't know why it goes into that, but it was just.
Oh, this review just literally said this subwoofer produces 100 W for a rich sound effect. What do you think the W might stand for?
Yes, that's when you can get it, doesn't get it. Do they have any good AV receivers? I was thinking about getting a new AV receiver.
What's that?
Did he have any good AV receivers over there? I could do with a new receiver.
No, he doesn't. No, he's sort of sold out of those. No.
I'm trying to decide. I got one here, and the HDMI sockets are playing up a bit. I think they've got pulled around too much. I'm tossing up whether.
What sort of surround system are you after?
Well, I have what have I got? 1, 2, 5, 5 or 7. I haven't got those speakers up. I can go up to 7, but it's only got 5 in it at the moment. 5.1.
5.1.
Yeah.
So no Atmos or anything like that.
Yeah, no, it's got Atmos in there. I don't use it much.
So 5.1.2, 5.1.4. No?
Sorry, I'm across the room having a look. Coming back. It was a Sherwood system. No, it's 1 point. It's supposed to be 5.2 cornea system. So just have a look on the back to see what it was. But I don't have a sub at the moment anyway, so it's really only 5. I used to have a sub, but it died.
Well, 5.2 is just that's just surround. It's not Atmos.
No. I had it had an Atmos system. I was thinking this one was, but it's not. I just had a look at it. So I had a Yamaha before this, which had Atmos. This one's a Sherwood, doesn't have Atmos.
What brand? What brand is it you've got?
This one's a Sherwood.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a Yamaha before that. I've had
what kind of Yamaha?
I'd have to look it up now. It's a while ago since I've had it.
Okay. An older one.
An older one, yeah.
Yeah.
This one was alright at the time because I used this one's mostly for the flicks between all the PlayStation and the various things. So it's mostly just the kids when they're younger used it all the time because I could flick between.
They're pretty competitive now. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was tossing up whether to just go to a soundbar back in here or. But I've got too many inputs in this room.
Depends how much you want to spend, Timbo. I mean, how much do you want to spend on one?
Oh no, I'd spend 400 or 500, maybe up to 600 if it was good enough.
You won't get much for that.
No, that's the thing. That's what I'm tossing up. Do I bother?
I mean, you'll get your standard. You'll get your standard. Like 5.1 or 7.1 systems for that, but that's about it. You won't get any sort of like advanced features or room correction or much like that out of that.
That's why I was tossing up whether to get a soundbar and getting a HDMI splitter or a HDMI switch, and just have it switch the HDMI inputs. Just for this room. I don't know. But if I do that, then I'll get rid of all the speakers and all that sort of stuff. Because the good soundbar isn't too bad for what we're using it for, but I do like it being able to do a proper every now and then play a movie with all the proper channels and stuff going on. But I haven't done that for a while, so it's it's tossing up will I actually use it or not. Anyway, we'll see. I'll keep an eye out, see what comes up. Particularly now, the really good receivers have got all the Wi-Fi inputs and all that, so you can pretty much hook anything up to them.
I mean, most it depends on how much again you want to spend. I mean, like if you had a spare $2,000 floating around, Onkyo would make a good receiver for about that price.
Yeah, well, there would have been a time where I would have gone down that track. It's just that sort of. I'm just wondering if I've sort of moved on from getting that well set up.
Yeah, you're over it, are you?
Well, not so much over it. It's just that I don't get a time to sit down and watch a movie that way, which is what I used to use it for. Was get the full surround and set up the sub, and you could really feel the cinema quality. Well, actually, better than cinema quality.
Yeah,
so most cinemas are pretty ordinary. Actually, feel all the proper set. Like feel the effort that some of the better videos used to go to in the sound quality. I used to use Gladiator as my test because the scene in Gladiator. I don't know if you remember. Gladiator, where they battle near the start of the scene and all the arrows are going over the top of your head and you hear them into. And that was always my test. If you felt like you had the arrows flying over the top of your head, then the sound was set up right. Because when it wasn't, it didn't sound like that at all.
Yeah, and then there's no point having a fantastic audio system either if you're sitting there staring at a little 24-inch TV or something.
I don't have that problem in this room. Initially, I was gonna because at the moment it's got a 68-inch on that wall. But I do have a couple of projectors, and I was going to set up with a 3-meter screen on with a projector, and for watching movies, and have it pull down when I want to watch something. But as I said, it's just I just never get time to really do that properly.
Yep, fair enough.
Nah. So anyway, if he doesn't have anything, that's fine. I won't.
It's a deep rabbit hole that though, Timbo. You can spend money endlessly on things shit like that.
Yes, you can just go toss out what I want to spend my money on. You see, because I've also thinking of converting my push bike to an e-bike.
Oh, yeah.
I've got in line a min-mounted because I've got a really good 29-inch dually mountain bike, and I haven't been using it much. But I've been thinking, for about 1,500, I can convert it to a good e-bike, because it's a good bike and it's in its own right, and then just sticking a good motor on it gives it just that extra range, and you ride to work, and then when you get tired in the afternoon, you don't have to pedal so hard coming home, because it's downhill.
Are you going to keep it legal, or are you going to keep it covertly non-legal?
Well, that's the weird thing, is that if it's a push bike without a motor, you can ride it as fast as you like. With the motor on, you're only meant to go to 35 k's an hour. So it's a matter of whether the motor's on.
It's not so much that's the issue. It's that it's just you're not allowed to put anything more than 250 watts on it to be legal.
I think I just need to check that. I think we're allowed a little bit more in the ACT. I'll have to have a look, because I think ACT has what do they call it? E-bike. They call it, because it's not a moped, it has e-bike rules. Hang on a sec. Let me have a look. Yes, and they're called alternative vehicles and motorised devices, which covers all that sort of stuff. 25k. Sorry, is not is the limit. I'm just seeing if it's got a wattage.
Yeah, most limitations in Australia are a quarter of a kilowatt. You're not allowed to have more than a quarter of a kilowatt for it to be legal on the roads. But I have seen bikes. I saw one advertised not long ago for 2 kilowatts, 2,000 watts. I'm thinking, holy shit! And it said something like its maximum speed was 90 kilometers an hour. I'm thinking, holy shit! Oh. Well, you'd have to be getting dressed up in your leathers and helmet and everything, like.
Here you go. This is an interesting thing. So the way it reads here, I'll blow it up so you can see it. This is the ACT one. Can you read that? It's not too small.
No, it's too blurry.
I can see it fine, no problem.
Anyway, so motor assisted pedal cycles and e-bikes can't go past 200 watts. That's what you'll see. Maximum engine output.
Oh, wow. That's not much at all. I mean, at least here in Victoria, we can go to 250.
Yeah, but pedelecs. Also, pedelecs is a type of electric bike where the rider's pedaling is assisted. So that's pedal assisted. You can go to 250. So technically, and 25k. So, but I don't know anyone who's ever had their bike pulled over and tested. Because you don't register it or not. We've had a few people get it done for having overpowered scooters, but usually because they're riding on the road at ridiculous speed and the police try and pull them over, and then they try and evade them, so they do get over that. So here you go, motorised wheelchairs. This is for Alan. Must comply with the same road rules. It is providing that they sell it. So I don't think Alan would like that. Only can go 10 kilometres an hour. Pretty sure I've seen him going faster than 10 kilometres an hour.
And I ride my mini bike to work.
Yes, so I was looking at 750, so legally I might have to scratch out the 7 and make it say 2. Just to give it a bit of power up on the hill. But that's to use the roads, though. This is the weird thing. This is roads and cycle paths. So off cycle paths, and we've got a lot of single track around here that I can ride on. So interesting. Anyway, there you go. That's ours. So it's not that dissimilar to Victoria's. I'm looking at it.
Yeah, yeah.
Is your limit 25 k's? I thought ours was 35 k's, but it says 25 k's.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is here.
We do have. We've got the ride-shared scooters in town. So, like so, you can you get the app, they're really popular, and I've used them quite a bit. And they have because they've got a GPS in it. When you ride into town, you get this. You are now entering a speed restricted zone, and pushes you down to 15 k's an hour. And so, but they're all set up. But they have a limit on it. There are a couple of zones in Canberra, and you can see someone's tried to ride from one zone to the other, and they've obviously run out of space. So you find this scooter in the middle of one of the long arterial roads where they've obviously got to the edge of the limit and they can't go any further. So pretty much.
Oh, they're like J-Fins, are they?
It's obvious, yeah, because they're set up in that they've got zones. Like this is the city zone, and a couple of the other city centres have their own zone, but there's gaps in between. So if you try and ride from the city to Belconnen, you'll go over the gap, and so you can see that they've got partway up the hill on the way out of town, and then suddenly, obviously, they've hit the gap, and the thing just cuts out. They can't ride any further. So find this row of 2 or 3 scooters where they've obviously got to the same point and they can't get out any further. You ever sit there?
Okay.
What have they done? Had to ring up somebody to come and get them, or did they walk the rest of the way home? What did they do? I don't know. I don't think the zones are dumb. It's just it would be some reason when there's only, in this particular case, TT guy, the zones, there's only about 5 kilometres of gap, or actually might even be less than that, but it's not a huge amount, but it's still there. But it's set by the local government, so they can't break it. But I have heard some stories from some of the guys that pick up those scooters that people take them home and then leave them in their garage, and it's sort of like, we know where they are. They've got GPS on it. So,
yeah,
it's like we turn up your garage. Oh no, I don't have a scooter. This one says scooter's sitting in your garage, mate. Oh, okay. Yes, just because they want to have it there ready to go, ride back home. They had them. They were trying to get rid of them. Yes, they would like to get rid of zones, but yes, they can't. That's the thing, is it's set by the government. So here in the ACT, they've allowed 2 companies to set up scooter, and they have to meet 6 strict rules to be allowed to operate. They did have the e-bikes for a while, but the scooters have just become so popular, and now they're just so much easier to use than an e-bike. You just pick one up and scan, jump on, and go. Whereas the bike, you still got to pedal and you got to find space, and they're a bit bigger. But the scooters, they can get around so much easier. Get around, particularly on the pedestrian ways, around traffic, etc. Why do the government care? The government always care. Because they're the ones that decide whether they exist or not. They did try for a while to have, in Canberra, segways has been accepted. And they did allow them for a while, but and they did have a group doing Segway tours around the Parliament Triangle, but I think they've decided to shut up shop now. Segways have also gone out of are no longer supported by Segway. What do you call it? 9-volt. So Segway's gone more into electric scooters, and I think you can still get some of the frames, but you can't get the actual old Segways anymore. At least not from Segway itself. No, it didn't reduce the take-up here. But Canberra's very well planned, so it works very well for Canberra, the zones. Yeah. Anyway, I think I've got a Everett to finish off with, and we'll see how we go. Anyway, let's put this Everett on. Come on. Oh, not starting. Come on, there we go. Did it for me.
So it turns out that pretty much everyone thinks that the Earth is a firmament, so it's like flat with the globe.
Hey, you know, Mother, I think there's a play there. Get Agent on phone.
Aye, I think you're right, Frank. It could express a vital theme of our age.
Aye.
Oh, shut up! Shut up!
So now I'm questioning everything because I don't trust NASA. They lied to us about the moon. Did they lie to us about this too? I mean, probably.
Two-faced bastards. Caught up in a web of lies so tangled that they'd rather hand over their mothers to the Gestapo than tell the truth. A sea of liars. So untrustworthy, they should be slaughtered like so much human cattle.
Bonus.
And I will say that I had a dream where I was inside, it was flat and there was a globe on top of me and I was looking out. I don't know.
Extreme close-up! Wah!
Yes, let's talk about it because a lot of people were like, what do you mean that you think that space isn't real? So you don't believe in space? I don't believe in NASA's version.
Meaning?
Now, why don't I believe in NASA's version of space? Because they're liars, okay?
You may know this. You know strange things. What is the boiling point of brain?
I used to know this.
What I don't believe is this. Now, why don't I believe that we live on this floating rock in space? Because every civilization before us has believed that we live in a firmament.
Fucking hell.
Nobody said it was a floating rock ever.
No. Sorry, just get back to this. Hey, Paul. Australian.
Yeah. What?
Australian.
Oh, dear.
Where did that come from? I've never seen that one before. Oh, dear. Is that meant to be the dream time? I don't know if that is anyway.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's probably too small for you to see, but it's like, I don't know. That one's very weird.
Is that what Australians see as the Earth? Is it? I don't know. Is that how you see the Earth?
I don't know anyone who sees that. It's not definitely not Aboriginal. I've never seen an Aboriginal depicted that way, so I just wondered where that came from.
No.
Oh, dear.
Believe that we live in a firmament.
Fucking hell.
You're gonna tell me that all of these people were wrong.
No, no. Well, yes, actually.
Now, my theory is that space is water. I believe that we live in a bubble inside a big body of water.
Shouldn't share that theory with anyone.
The sun's path over flat Earth would equal out to an infinity sign. They want to keep us stuck in a time loop.
What does that mean? I literally have no idea what that is supposed to mean.
Here, you guys can look it over, the sun's path over flat Earth. This is why in the Northern Hemisphere, we get longer, warmer days in the summer, shorter, colder days in the winter.
Welcome to the first annual Sacred Heart Who Caresies Awards, designed to honor those people who believe that others actually give a rat's ass about the minutia of their lives.
I mean, but like, is this true? Because who's actually been able to see if the sun actually forms this? Well, looks like people have.
I'm having a margarita with salt. You two are on your own.
Look at that. Tell me that's not the...
Are you okie dokie?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So how are you going to tell me that the Earth is round and we live in a floating rock?
Get out!
Is it something I said?
It's this confirms this.
No.
That is the most stupid thing ever said by a human being.
So Big Brother can make fun of us all they want.
Oh, absolutely. That's a very good idea.
But we know the truth. Break the fucking cycle. Wake the fuck up.
Okay, that did not just happen.
Do you think she even has any understanding of the diagram that's completely wrong? This one?
But, like, is this true? Because
I'll try to work out how you get that shape from that diagram.
No idea.
So,
because if they're doing it from the perspective of that little white man that's sitting on the Earth, it'd just be elliptical shape, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be.
it'd just be a line going back and forth, maybe. Why do you get the elliptical shape like this? If it's just what they show in there, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to, if you look at this thing, she's trying to suggest that the sun changes height. See? So it's going up, gets higher, then comes back down again. But it doesn't change.
Yeah, in a spiral somehow. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be great to get someone to say, okay, can you explain how that works? See if she even gets it.
Yeah. How does it go up in a spiral, and what causes it to go down in a spiral?
Yes.
What's making it do that?
And then at what height is this to form this shape? What height does that need to be? Because if the sun is up here...
Well, it won't. It doesn't matter where you are on that flat disc. Wherever you stand on that flat disc, it's not going to make that shape. It just isn't.
No, that's
Come
right.
on.
That's why I can't work it out. That's why she thinks that's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the further away you are, I mean, if you're right underneath it, right, if you're in the centre, say at their supposed North Pole or whatever you want to call it, it'll be a perfect circle. But if you're standing near the edge, it would just appear elliptical. That's all it would, but it'd still be circular. Wouldn't cause that shape, would it? It doesn't matter where you are on the flat disc.
No, it
doesn't work.
Yep. Well, I think we might call it an end for the night, guys. Thanks for coming.
All right.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's starting to get late, and I will have a set up for the Saturday show, and we might have a few things in. We'll see how we go.
I'm sure I'll have some quizzes by then.
Yeah, and might see Alan and Farmers back then. And we'll take it from there. So, sorry, I'm just going to talk. I don't have the knack of filling in dead air as nicely as I would like to. So I'm trying.
Who's
to
actually been able to see if the sun?
Oops, the stop button. There it is. Oh, I found it. So, okay. So thanks for coming, Peanuts. You guys want to say good night, Peanuts?
Good
night,
night,
Peanuts. Night.
Okay. Okay, guys. Thanks for coming. I'll catch you on Saturday. See you then.
Bye.
Bye. It should be out.